call Biden a criminal. Why is that?
He is a criminal. He's a criminal. He got caught, read his laptop, and you know who's a criminal? You're a criminal for not reporting it. You are a criminal for not reporting it. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is a criminal, and he's been a criminal for a long time, and you're a criminal in the media for not reporting it. Good luck, everybody.
Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president again.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 20.
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to CobraCast 199. I am your host, D-Day Cobra, and I hope everyone is scanning in as we speak. We have the new scan in emojis for our members. Brock has already dropped 50 gifted memberships. Vic Whiplash just dropped 20 gifted memberships. Soviet Bean already dropped 5. We already have 75 new members. And I haven't even said hello to all of you. Holy shit. Welcome in to CobraCast 199. We got a lot to talk about. And in hour number 2, we will be joined by Robert Barnes. So if you got questions for Robert, go ahead, get those in. And I'm going to have Jed kind of position them off so we can make sure we can get as many of those questions asked of all of you. So Robert will be joining us in hour number 2. Look at that. Warren Smith dropping 20. We already got 95 new members. 95. I guess you guys are a little excited for Robert Barnes. And of course, we have a lot to talk about tonight. So shout out to Krista Nova for handling the scan in emoji. I do think we're going to update it a little bit. We're going to do a little more with it, but I wanted to get something out there for you guys. Just the latest meme, the latest weirdo that was hating on us, and so we've memed them. So now it's scan in 199. TJ just dropped 20 gifted memberships. TJ 20. Hayden just dropped 20. What the hell is happening right now? Holy crap. We thought Obama was worst president, and then Biden said, "Hold my Bud Light." Yes, absolutely. Jake, the movie geek, Jeremy Weinwart, you on FNT? I am no longer part of FNT. Gary fired me when he found out that I wasn't as toxic as Ryan. I'm just not kidding. I've just been really busy. I'll be back next week. We have a great guest next week. It's been a really busy few days. We've had Melanie Mack here at G&G HQ. We've been running around doing a lot of stuff. I've had some other business I've had to tend to. So I apologize for not being on Friday Night Tights last few weeks. I will be back. No worries. I mean, look, I love Friday Night Tights. I'm never leaving Friday Night Tights. I know people have, worried like, oh my goodness, he left the High Council. He's leaving the Friday Night Tights. I will never leave Friday Night Tights. I love being on Friday Night Tights. I love being a part of it. It's an honor and it's a privilege to be part of Friday Night Tights. I am the only, this has been a thing for years. Okay. So I'm not trying to say that I never really even want to make a point. This is not something that needs, I don't need credit for this. This is years. This has been going on for years. Everything that happens on Friday Night Tights is we split that up with the whole crew. All right. I don't take a dime from Friday Night Tights because I just wanted to be part of it. And I wanted the Geeks and Gamers name to be part of it. I want that money to go back to the crew. People think I'm a grifting machine and he only cares about the money. It's an honor and a privilege to be on Friday Night Tights. And it is the greatest thing that I have been a part of. And I will never, ever leave Friday Night Tights. I will never, ever leave it. Anyway, it's just been really busy, but I will be back. No worries. And I'm sure they had a great show. All right. There's been, just while I'm running my mouth, I think Vic Whiplash dropped 20 more. Drunk 3POs dropping 5 gifties. Warren Smith says Robert Barnes. Jeremy, I'm excited, says Warren Smith. CK Wynn says Krista should be a Dragon Ball Z Scouter Scanner emote. You just said should a DBZ Scouter Scanner emote. Is that what you want? You want one of those? I'm sure Krista's listening right now. TJ says scan in, scan up 199, representing the 199 and the Snake Pit. Love you all. Meme TV for 50. Hail to the 199 on a forced 7-day Twitter vacation. Been enjoying Jay and Melanie Max shenanigans this week. Trump 2024, baby. Yes. Thank you, Meme TV. Shout out to you. Vic Whiplash just dropped 20 more gifted memberships. What the hell is happening right now? What is happening right now? Something I found out today. I don't know how long this has been a thing, but I think that this is kind of cool. Laura Loomer follows me. Laura Loomer follows me on Twitter now. I know she's on Timcast tonight, but check it out. Laura Loomer follows me. That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I've followed Laura Loomer for a long time, but she's obviously a mega Trump advocate. She is a ride or die Trump 2024 person, and that's all I care about. Laura Loomer is out there fighting the good fight. And so she followed me, so I followed her back. I wasn't following her. She followed me. So that's pretty cool. So maybe we can get her on CobraCast 199 at some point. I'm just saying, I know she's I know Laura don't hold back, man. And I appreciate that. I respect the hell out of that. Okay. In fact, was it Bill Mitchell? Is that his name? She just absolutely annihilated this Bill Mitchell clown. Bill Mitchell is this DeSantis talking head. And is this right here? Yeah, let's just look at this right now. Holy shit. What is happening on this stream right now? Alec Baldwin's finger just dropped 50 gifted memberships. This is happening right now. I can't keep up with this. I can't keep up. You guys are overwhelming me right now. Look at the chat. I love seeing this chat move so fast. I love seeing the I feed off of the chat. I feed off of the energy of the chat. With the excitement, I feed off of it. I love seeing this chat so enthusiastic. Oh my God. Brock just dropped 50. Lost Tail says, oh, damn, it feels good to be back tonight. Lost Tail. Brock dropped 50. GJJ just dropped 10. Meme TV's like Jeremy's. Whew. Hayden. I'm just trying to catch it as much as I can. Loomer talks so much that you'd just be letting her run the show the entire time, man. She does great work, but then she starts talking in circles, and she won't just stop after she made her point. She hits every rabbit trail. Yeah, I saw her on Timcast tonight, and she definitely dominates. And but she's good peeps, man. At the end of the day, all I care about is Donald J. Trump getting back in office. That's all I care about. Vic Whiplash says, D-Day, you might need to call in some backup. Do you guys want, should we put up the drunk 3PO bat signal? Should we put up the drunk signal? I mean, we may need to get the drunk signal in here. I don't know if you guys want the drunk signal in here. WMH435 just became a new member. Man, oh man, oh man. This is crazy. I haven't even talked about a topic yet. The excitement is insanity right now. I want to say, like, having Melanie Mack in town was amazing. She is awesome. It was great having her here. We had an amazing time. And I really, really appreciated her, and everybody did a great job here. I know you guys, the whole. I do feel that the Melanie Mac Beardo meme is kind of like ran its course. It's been fun and everything, but I do think it was a little distracting on Tuesday night's main event. And just so you know, she's going to be back this Tuesday for Geeks and Gamers Tuesday night's main event. But I think that whole thing has kind of ran its course. It's funny, but Melanie's good peeps. Beardo's good peeps. They're friends. We're all friends. It's been awesome to watch all this play out. Alec Baldwin's finger is a mad lad because he just dropped 50 more. My goodness. What is happening right now? What the hell is going on? This stream has been 13. We have been live for 13 minutes, and we already have over 300 new members. My goodness, man. The chat's moving so fucking fast, I can't keep up. It's moving so fast, I can't keep up. Hayden says, by the way, I checked, and CobraCast 199 was 54 in the world for most super chats last week. In the world? Holy shit. I rarely check the world rankings because it's just some of those anime channels are just so astronomical, so I rarely check it. But CobraCast 199 was 54 in the world. Vic Whiplash. Vic Whiplash just dropped 20 more. Fat Beardo just dropped 5. And we were 54 in the world. Oh, my goodness. What in the world? I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate I really appreciate all the enthusiasm. Look at Alec Baldwin's finger. Hit the like, degenerates. This man has dropped so many gifts between him and Brock, and of course everybody else. I don't know, man. What are we hitting tonight on this membership number? What are we hitting? Oh my goodness. Subhuman just dropped 5. What is happening right now? I don't even know what to do. What I'm going to do is thank you, Warren, and thank you to everybody. You guys keep doing your thing in the chat, okay? We got a couple of topics that we've got to knock out before Robert gets here. You guys keep going crazy in the chat. JM the Elite Fan, I see you on Rumble. You got a question for Robert. Again, if you have a super chat, if you want to send a question in for Robert, feel free to let that send that in, and Jed will get those separated. Thank you, FMJ HP, for the 5 gifted memberships. Holy crap! Yeah, Cam Man says we are the show now. Amazing, absolutely amazing, unbelievable. With that said, the big news of the day is this right here. Elcid Barrett, my goodness. Elcid Barrett, let's make top 50 in the world. Amazing. Amazing. Might as well enter the madness, says Alan Fox. All right. Trump plans to skip GOP debate for interview with Tucker Carlson. This is amazing. This is Donald Trump doing exactly what Donald Trump does. Because as I've said, Donald Trump is the most important man in whatever room he walks in. Wherever he goes, he is the focus. That is just an undeniable fact. It was that way before he was president, and it's certainly that way once he became president, and it's still that way after he's become president. And this is just who he is. He is the man. And he has been disrespected by Fox News. Fox News. He has been disrespected by the GOP. He has been disrespected by the mainstream. And so he's basically saying, I'm too damn important. And if you're going to disrespect me, then I'm just going to go talk to the number one man in all of media, Tucker Carlson. So now, reportedly, Trump and Tucker Carlson are going to be doing a sit-down interview during the GOP debate. It's a fantastic move. Nobody's going to pay attention to anything that the GOP debate is talking about. They don't care. Nobody's going to be talking about this the day of or after. They're going to be talking about Trump and Tucker Carlson. And this is exactly what should have been done. If you do not respect the most important man in the situation, that man is going to walk away and go do something else. And that very thing is talking to the man that Fox News fired. So now you have the two most prominent individuals probably on the internet right now in Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump in terms of the political world for sure. They're going to be sitting down and they're basically going to tell Fox News to go F themselves. And it is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know if Jay's around, but I will send him the link. All right. I don't know if Jay's around, but I will send him the link and see if he wants to hop in here for a little while. Freaking drunk 3PO. Let's see. The link is sent, Jay. So if you want to hop in here, if you've got time. Holy crap, Lost Tales. What are you doing? Did someone steal Lost Tales like credit card? What is going on with Lost Tales? What is happening right now with Lost Tales? Lost Tales just dropped 2 50s. 2. AR Master, 20 gifted memberships. What the hell is happening? My goodness. Oh my goodness. What? Lost Tales is drunk. What? What the hell is going on tonight? What is happening? We got people dropping Rumble rants over on my D-Day Cobra channel. What is happening right now? Jay is here. What is that?
I'm not gonna stay long because I want to listen to Barnes when he gets here. I want you guys to talk, so I just come in and say hi. But you got to check your Twitter DMs, man. I sent you a video. It's hilarious. It's about Fox News wanting to get Trump in the GOP debate. It's hilarious. Perfect for what you're talking about. There's no need for a debate, man. We don't need a debate.
No.
They just everybody's literally debating for VP at this point. That's what I think.
I heard and I don't know, and I'm gonna ask Robert about this when he gets here, but I heard that I heard Tim Pool mention this earlier. That if every conservative,
and I love this chat, man. They're like cheering me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. It's so cool. I love this chat.
They're insanity, man. Look at
this
CK win with the 50. Like they've lost their freaking minds, man. Look at the activity right now. Stay on the stream, Jay. We love you, bro.
Listen, you guys don't understand. I'm a fan of this show. I pushed Jeremy to get this. I like to listen. So when Robert gets here, I want to be a fan. I'm gonna be a fan. Just listen.
David Phillips, man, what is happening right now? What is happening right
check
now?
Your Twitter DMs. I just put it in there. It's not long.
Okay.
It's perfect, dude. 100. Woo!
You guys are over. This show's been live for 20 minutes. I don't understand. What's going on. But with that said, yeah, so what were we talking about?
I said check your Twitter DMs.
No, I know that, but there's another clip that I want to show you too. So how long are you going to be here?
As soon as Robert gets here, I want to listen. I'm going to listen.
Okay, here we go. Here's what Jay wants me to. I think this is the meme edit. I think
it's the meme edit. It's
here we go.
Perfect.
Here we go.
Even though President Trump is kicking everyone's ass in the primary polls,
we're still trying to set him up with our bullshit Republican primary debate.
I mean, maybe he'll show up.
And we're just hoping everyone takes shots at him so we can help Ron DeSantis.
Because we don't really give a shit
about our viewers' opinion.
We only care about getting a big fat paycheck.
And about not getting fired like Tucker Carlson.
It's perfect, man.
Oh, man.
They might as well just come out and say that because that's exactly what they're doing. They might as well.
That's all
I would
it is.
respect them more if that's what they did. I would respect them more.
That's all it is, man. It's so obvious what they're doing right now. Trump is against he's got everybody against him right now, man. Everybody.
Except the people, man. Except the people that matters. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Brock,
did you see some of the bull crap stuff?
Brock just dropped 20 more. 20. Troy News just dropped the 50. CobraCast only gets better as time goes on. Keep up the good work, Cobra. The people need it. Trump 2024. Go ahead, Jay. What were you saying?
Some of the bull crap charges they got to him in Georgia. Apparently, he was watching TV or something with like a piece of paper next to him. It is that ridiculous. Some of the charges. Or he tweeted while he was president, or it's just so ridiculous what they're just trying to do, man.
I know. And Vic, I see you with 20 more. My God, good Lord, man. I know we were talking about this earlier. So this is Bill Mitchell, DeSantis. Like, if you want to know what DeSantis eats for lunch, just have Bill Mitchell breathe, because he probably crawled up his ass and knows everything. Okay. But I don't know if this is a meme edit or if this is the actual, but this is Laura Loomer and Bill Mitchell and Tim Cast.
Let's talk about Iowa for a second. I want to ask, why is Trump on a suicide mission in Iowa? He has insulted Kim Reynolds 3 times now. Bob Vanderplatz, who is literally the evangelical kingmaker.
No, he's not. He ran for governor 3 times and lost 3 times. And he took a bribe of $50,000 from the Never Back Down PAC.
The last 3 people that won Iowa were endorsed.
Willie Will.
$200.
Jesus Christ.
Man, we got to get rid of the 50 emoji. We got to start putting hundreds and 200s.
Permission to scan 199N. You got those scan in emojis. Thank you, Willie Will.
Endorsed by Vanderplatz. The president of the Senate has endorsed DeSantis. The House Majority Leader has endorsed DeSantis. Dietz, who is a big Iowa guy, has endorsed DeSantis. So all of the leaders, and let's talk about endorsements for a second. How many of Trump's former press secretaries have endorsed Trump? How many of his former chiefs of staff have endorsed Trump? How many of his former cabinet members have endorsed Trump? If I was an executive recruiter for a long time, I did reference checks on people. if I had done a reference check on Trump based upon who he's worked with, I would have to.
But let's go back to Iowa.
Employer, don't hire this person because everybody they work with.
Let's go back to Iowa. And I want you to Iowa. Yeah, what's the Iowa point?
The thing is, Iowa, President Trump, according to polls out today, President Trump is up 26.1% in Iowa. He wants to say that Ron DeSantis is supported by Bob Vanderplatz. Yeah, of course he's supported by Bob Vanderplatz, because as I exclusively exposed in my investigative report, Bob Vanderplatz received a $50,000 wire transfer from the Never Back Down Super PAC, which is the official super PAC that is supporting Ron DeSantis. And Reuters actually confirmed my reporting in a report they published on August 12th, and President Trump commented on it yesterday, and he didn't disclose that. So remember when Bob Vanderplatz was like, oh, Donald Trump doesn't want to come to my forum where Tucker Carlson's going to host? He never disclosed publicly that just days before hosting that forum, Never Back Down paid him $50,000 so that he could support Ron DeSantis. And now, right, he's walking around with Ron DeSantis, taking him to church, and he says that Vanderplatz is a kingmaker. Well, if Vanderplatz is a kingmaker, how come Ted Cruz isn't president? Vanderplatz endorsed Ted Cruz
but
in
Ted
2015.
Cruz won.
No,
the reason why, but
and
Iowa, I mean,
Vanderplatz, I'm going to say one last thing. Vanderplatz ran for governor of Iowa 3 times, and he was rejected all 3 times by the voters of Iowa. Okay, so Ron DeSantis was at the Iowa State Fair last weekend. He was flipping burgers and putting toothpicks into eggs, and there were people that didn't even know who the hell he was. And Donald Trump cucked his ass by flying his plane over the Iowa State Fair, and he is not a.
He spent 45 minutes on the ground and left.
Donald Trump is not a carnival. Donald Trump is not a carnival ride, and he is not a food stand, and yet he was the most popular attraction at the Iowa State Fair.
No,
yes, he was.
Fake,
so
there were people in Iowa chanting, "We want Trump," as Ron DeSantis was awkwardly walking by.
I'm from Iowa. I love you, Iowa. This isn't about you personally, but the Iowa caucuses and for the GOP has not meant anything. We had Huckabee.
Even major endorsements from people that the common folk don't even know don't mean anything anymore. It's not like what it used to. Some of these people used to carry tons of weight when they're like, "Hey, I'm backing this person, I'm backing that person." It just, we've seen recently, nobody freaking backed Trump. He won the presidency. Yeah. You know, a select few did. I'll give you that. Select few did come out. It wasn't until Trump was like clearly bulldozing, man, to the presidency, then people started to go, yeah, I like him. You know, I want to be associated with a winner. But, you know, what the freak, man? Like now they're all quiet. And like you said, they're just going somewhere else. These endorsements, man, like people are waking up, man. They're waking up to this bull crap. You just got another $100.
I know. And Hayden with a 50 says, keep in mind that number 54 globally for week last week is only going live 3 days a week, being CobraCast. As a fan of most of these anime girl streams that are dominating VTubers, they generally go live for 3 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. We are rocking it. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Holy crap. And I just can't believe how much support you guys give. It's truly incredible.
Man. We need it. There's no other show like this, man. Like, we need this. I'm sorry. I got to flex. You flexed about Laura Luma. Once you get this done, I got to flex a little bit when you're done.
Hey, man, it's humbling. It's humbling. I'm just a regular ass dude. Thank you for the Come on, man. Right here. Here we go.
Look who followed me. The beautiful, hot blonde. I didn't even follow her. You know, the real political savvy. She's got that beautiful country voice. She decided to follow me on Twitter. She might not be as big as Laura Loomer, but her TikTok page is massive. All right.
Oh, she's on the Daily 300 meme team. Man, yeah. I bet Meme TV knows her. I bet Meme TV knows her.
Yeah, Meme TV does know her.
Yeah,
I think it was him that kind of like, you know, put us together. So I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'll get the TikTok lady. You know, you can have Laura Loomer. I'll have the
who's that? Who's the Brock for 20? Holy crap. Who's the Southern girl talking about the Southern girls and all that you shared? That one went viral for you, or not viral, but it blew up. You know what I mean? GJJ says, give Jay a raise.
Hey!
Alan Fox says, hail Snake Pit and hail the 199. Stacey S. J, you're like bacon, and bacon makes everything better.
Thank you.
Hail the Snake Pit and the 199. Holy
I'm just
crap.
a fan, man. I'm just a fan. I appreciate y'all wanting me on. That means a lot to me.
We have been live for 30 minutes and we're almost at 500 new members. What the holy
I freaking
crap.
love it, man.
Oh my God. Jeremy
keeps have the guest on
me
yet.
with I know it. Oh my goodness. What am I supposed how am I supposed to keep up with all this, Jay? How am I supposed to keep up with all this? What am I supposed to do?
That's not my show. I don't know. I can barely keep up with 500 people.
You know what they want. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to force me to have to do a square up tomorrow. That means I have to go live tomorrow. That's what's going to have to happen. They know I can't keep up. They're looking for a CobraCast on Saturday. Chris Stallings with 10 gifted memberships. I do got a video I want to show you, Jay. I don't know if
Mark
you've seen
Schaefer. Wait, please pull up Mark Schaefer. $20 super chat.
Let's see. Holy crap. This is crazy.
One of the newer ones just came in.
There we go.
Hey. Because drunk is on 199 plus drunk is the ticket. She's Meme TV says she's my good friend and she's single, Jay.
There we go. Oh man. So who got he finally got gifted? Who was asking for the gift? AP from the Hills, Jay, this is on Rumble 20. Jay is like a milkshake. He brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah, if you saw that video of me and Melanie on that roller coaster, my milkshake was shaking on that thing.
TJ
100 says bring it.
Oh my goodness. Vic Whiplash, stand shoulder to shoulder, hold the line. 199. My goodness, you guys are insane tonight. I'm about to tell Robert, I'm like, man, this chat's crazy hyped for you, bro.
They're insane every night. Yeah, man. Robert is great, man. Robert's going to be fantastic.
Let's see.
He better be careful, man, because the snake pit will bite you. He ain't good. Trust me, I know. Cam Man said it's okay if you jiggle like Jelly Jay. Yeah, man. I saw that. I was like shaking on that roller coaster. I was like, holy crap. Every marble part of my body just went up and down. It was great.
Sophie says scan in 199. Didn't learn my lesson and went to work listening to FNT. Imagine 150 or was it 150-pound woman on a scooter? Is that what you mean?
1.50
woman on scooter
yeah.
laughing like the Mad Hatter. Thankfully avoided any possible car accidents. Hail Jay and Jay. Thank you, Sophie. Appreciate you. All right, Jay, have you seen this video really quick? This has been going around. Let's see here. Right here. Have you seen this one?
Oh no.
Oh, this is a banger right here. This is a banger. Here we go.
Somebody help me make sense of this shit. The mayor of California, the mayor of New York, the mayor of Washington, all y'all asking for the National Guard. When y'all were the same people that were with defunding the police. All you Democrat states are asking for the National Guard now that crime is running rampant in your streets after you wanted to defund the police. Understand something, man. They wanted to defund the police to create chaos. And once you create chaos, then you have a reason to try to take away rights or declare martial law. All this shit is a game created by fucking Democrats. All this is games created. Y'all created all of this and all of a sudden you want them back. Let me help you understand something. I ain't stupid, bro. Y'all are the house of cards and y'all playing them cards well. Y'all wanted this to happen. Y'all wanted all this to happen. So when you cry for help, you can say it's the guns, it's the guns, it's the violence, when really it's the criminals. You defunded the police, took them away from their job, told them they can't be hard on criminals. You let them go and you created chaos and all of a sudden you want the National Guard? Make that make sense. All you Democrat states crying out for help now after following a stupid-ass Democrat party who condemned you to hell. And now the mayor in New York talking about he want Biden to be responsible. You didn't want Biden to be responsible when he was going with your agenda. You want Biden to be responsible now that he ain't helping you now that he created what he wanted to? Y'all don't understand. Biden don't give a shit about minorities and low-income people, especially black people or people of color. And at this point, he don't give a shit about your kids or any people. And y'all rode this horse, and now y'all want somebody to come bail y'all out after y'all rode the white horse that really wasn't white. It was a black, dark, evil fucking horse. Fuck out of here, man. I don't feel sorry for none of these states that's running rapid, because these are the same states that follow the agenda. These are the same states that back the same man that ain't did a damn thing but sell this country down the drain. So make that make sense. Somebody help me make sense of all you Democrat states calling out for the National Guard now that you defunded police. And you intentionally made police officers quit their job because they couldn't do their job. And now I'm supposed to feel sorry for you now that crime is running rampant. The only people I feel sorry for right now is Hawaii. The only thing I feel sorry for right now is Hawaii. Every other state in all these American Democrat states that's going through what they're going through, you deserve it. And for all you patriots that's talking, oh man, they can hear you. I'm aware the government can hear me. I'm aware the government follow me. I'm aware that the government tap in all my videos. The only difference is I'm not a bitch like y'all, bro.
Yeah.
So make that make sense.
Yeah. Bro. I got chills listening to it.
People
again, man.
are tired of it, man. There's no more. It can't be no silent majority anymore, man. Cannot be a silent majority anymore. You have to be loud and proud with it.
Yep. 100%.
Loud and proud with it, man. Dang, good on you, sir.
Yeah,
good
man.
Good on you.
Yeah. Feelings_over, or facts_over_feelings _AK on TikTok. I don't know where else he is, but that's what the TikTok video was. I'm assuming that's his. And yeah, it's true. And like, we are at a point, like, yeah, I'm not sitting here telling you like that. What I'm saying is, if you voted for Biden and you're upset, I don't feel sorry for a fucking thing you're going through. You don't get 2016. I'll give people a pass if they didn't vote for Trump. All right. I'll give you a pass if you didn't vote for Trump in 2016, because I get it. Trump came out of nowhere. He was a celebrity, a billionaire, all that. I get it. Okay. You don't get a pass for not voting Trump 2020, and you don't get a pass for supporting Biden. If you supported Biden in 2020, you don't get a pass for that. There ain't no, you don't get that. You need to live with the fucking circumstances you created. You get no sympathy whatsoever. No sympathy. This man is a fucking clown. There were videos of him. There was evidence of Biden being this horrible person, all the horrible things that they said. There was evidence everywhere. All you needed to have was the slightest bit of common sense to understand that the Hunter Biden laptop story was compromised. It's just a disaster. And
all you need is common sense for half this stuff.
I know.
I mean, the thing too, it's like, we voted for the people that voted for these people. Now they're at like a school board meeting screaming, "Why are you showing this pornography to my children?" You put that in office, and now you have to take it out. You put that in office. I hope your eyes are wide open now, and you need to take it out. Screaming at these people at school boards, and I appreciate the people being loud and screaming, but if you put that in and now you're screaming like, hey, this is wrong, you need to vote them out. Like, it's disgusting across the board. We're talking about little kids having mutilated surgeries and people cheering for it. Right? Yep. You're talking about people that hate police officers. We see videos every day on social media of people walking into California and having a calculator and stealing up to, I think it's $800, because they know nothing's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
They could do that once a year.
Yeah.
What?
It's mind-blowing to me, man. Like, I mean, when I worked, and it just shows you how much the world has changed. But so when I worked retail all of those years, back in, late 90s, early 2000s and on, I mean, we got a lot of shoplifters, and we could absolutely physically handle these fucking people. You know what I mean? We had the authority at the store level. If you came in our store and you were stealing from us, we as management had the authority to physically take these people down. And I've slowly started to watch that turn into, Okay, well now you can't be physical with them. Okay, now you can't even. Now we can't even go up to them and talk to them. Now you're not even allowed to ask them, "Hey, where is that steak that you picked up?" Now it's to the point where you can't even approach them as they're just an everyday customer. Like, "Hi, how are you today, sir?" If you even approach them, you can't even say that now. It's crazy watching that process over the decades kind of just go from where it was to where it is now. And you look at these blue cities, and yeah, people can like literally just go in there and steal whatever they want, and you can't even say anything. And that's a leftist, democratic, nonsensical agenda right there. It's insane to me. It's insane. And it's everywhere. It's all over the place. The Wookiee says Jay has high tea, had two lovely ladies crash his stream yesterday, Christinova and Melanie Mack. Jay's living the good life.
Oh man, I had a good week with Melanie on one arm and Krista on the other. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, hey man,
It was
that's
a
the life.
beautiful day.
That's the life of drunk 3PO. And where are you going to be? Aren't you going to Utah here pretty soon?
Yeah.
What you going to do there?
I don't know. Someone named Gina Carano invited me out to another Comic-Con. So me and Gina are gonna hang out together. I told her maybe. I don't know, man. It's like I might have stuff to do. I might want to play Fortnite. I don't know. She said like the people from Back to the Future will be there, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Jay's
We'll see about that.
I know, like when Jay, Gina's people had to contact Jay's people, and then Jay was like, "We'll let you know. We'll let you know." So maybe he'll be able to work himself out there. If Dems win again, Hayden for 50. If Dems win again, the 199 will be branded an extremist cult. I'm sure. Blame for half of Trump. We're all in it, baby. Let's go. Absolutely. And so I will be. So I brought this point up earlier, but because I think I got distracted from all the gifted memberships and the subs and all of that. But so Tim Pool mentioned this earlier, but if every GOP candidate drops out of the race right now and just backs Trump, that puts them in such a bad position, the Democrats, because basically if they all back out, Trump is the nominee. You know what I mean? He will become the presumed nominee.
He's gonna be it no matter what.
I know he's not. I think they're trying to get his name off of ballots in certain states.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to do.
I think the GOP debate is literally for cabinet positions.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we'll see. It's like at this point, that's just where we're at.
Ultimately, Vivek's probably gonna wipe the floor with everybody.
Sounds like it.
He's probably gonna wipe the floor. That's what I expect.
And he still might do it, man. He might. They might be waiting for this one debate to say, "Here I am, mic drop. All right, I'm out. Y'all go vote for Trump." I mean, you never know.
I think right now, Vivek's in a really good position to do something drastic. I don't think he will, but as I've said, like right now that he is at the point he's at. He's reached the levels he's at. He should set the tone and go, we have to stop. We have to all stop and unify behind Donald Trump. And I am taking myself out of the race, and I'm calling on my fellow candidates to do the same thing, to show unity, that we are not going to allow these far left-wing Democrats to abuse this system and destroy our country by going after a former president and the front runner for the Republican nomination. We're not going to do it. I don't think he will, but that's what he should do.
How much you want to bet that it's a Fox News debate, correct?
Yes.
That they will do everything in their power to divert from all of them saying the name Trump. Like I think that they will, and I could be wrong. I think they will not bring it. They will try not to bring his name up.
If they
whatsoever,
don't,
but a
it's
candidate
make it
might.
so much worse. If it's going to make it so much worse if they don't.
But they've already made it. I'm just saying, like, these people are dumb. Like they've already made it worse. Like they don't know what they're doing. They think these people have looked down on us and thought that we are, nothing but the pawns in the world and they can do no wrong. Let's fire whoever we want. Let's, we don't need Tucker Carlson. We're Fox News, man. Like we don't need him. It's like it's stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think like these people are just not smart. Now I could be wrong, and the whole if the whole debate is about Trump and stuff, then Trump has won.
Yes.
If they try to keep it without even mentioning his name, then Trump has won. So we'll see. I think it'll be if a candidate brings it up. That's what I think. I think we'll see.
Yeah.
But I personally think they're going to be like, hey, no, he's betrayed us. We're not going to mention his name on this network.
It will. That's about that's the only interesting thing about this debate is, are they going to mention Trump? That's
what
the
I'm
only
saying.
thing people care about. It's crazy, man. Your Barmy says, if Gina asks, you do it.
You're absolutely right.
Jay, Fortnite or Gina? What a question. Alan Fox says, NC, North Carolina just passed a law that banned mutative surgery for minors and other trans agenda for kids.
Some states are passing it, yeah, but some are not. And some of these people, like Gavin Newsom, is out there saying, you just come to our state. We'll pay for it. Bring them on over, like you'll be fine. Oh, you want an abortion? Come on down.
Yep.
Just drive over, we'll take care of you. It's crazy to me.
Magnum North says, Biden is a tyrant. Do you know what happens to tyrants here? He is 100% a tyrant. He is 100%. Mark Shavers says Jeremy equals cosplayer, Jay equals player. Recognize.
Hey man, listen, I wouldn't be in this position with all these beautiful women if it wasn't for Jeremy. So he's the king.
I'm sure Krista Nova loves that picture though, that profile picture. Look at that with the
yeah.
There you go. Vic Whiplash just dropped 20 more memberships, and we are 11 away from 500 new members.
Holy crap.
What in the hell is happening? We may hit 1,000 likes before Robert Barnes shows up. So if you're tuning in, Robert is scheduled to be here at 11. He does have the link now. I haven't heard back from him, but I did text him and told him he's got the link. So we will see when Robert gets here, and we do have questions for Robert. Jay, if Robert doesn't show up, we'll just have Jay. We'll just change his name to Robert Barnes. Now I'll ask Jay a bunch of legal questions. GJJ. 10 more, and we are 1 away from 500 in 50 minutes. What the hell, man? Bruh, that's what I've been saying the whole stream.
He sure has.
Bruh.
He sure has.
Then give Jay sports picks. Yeah. You'll have to take over sports picks. The fact that we live in a world where Robert Barnes actually, did stuff for our Sports Wars channel and does stuff for us.
That's pretty wild.
Crazy, man. It's really crazy. Oh my goodness.
My sport picks are freaking lucky. I picked the Miami Heat to go to the finals, and no one believed me, and only because I'm a Heat fan, and they actually went. They got destroyed, but they did actually win. So
Mike Hill dropped 10. CK Wynn dropped 1. Vic Whiplash for a $20 super chat. Oh no, I gifted MCU fan. Warren Smith for 10. Ellie Reen for 1. Cole Hauser for 1. My goodness. Spirian for 1. Hayden dropped another 10. Some states are willing to harbor kidnappers and mutilate the children. When that happens, a group from the origin state says, no, we will save that kid. Was Tim Pool right? Civil War? When Temple says Civil War, I don't think honestly, in a lot of ways, I think we're already in a Civil War. You know what I mean? And Jared dropped 5 gifted memberships. My God. Are we going to hit? The record is 1,200, okay? And that was on a Geeks and Gamers stream.
Oh, listen, we're in a different type of war because these people have taken away people's jobs for not falling in line. They have separated their families for not falling in line. They're passing laws now where they could take children away from their parents if they don't fall in line in certain states. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much not a free country if that's what's going on here. So it's a different kind, and it's like it's just, and like everybody in the chat and many people that are filled with common sense, you don't give pornography to children.
But I mean, what's the basic definition of a civil war? It's a war between civilians, correct?
Yeah.
We are in a civil war. We just are. That's happening. It doesn't have to be that the whole country's out here
standing in a line
fighting, but we are, by definition, we are already in a civil war. They are trying to lock up the 45th president of the United States of America and the Republican frontrunner for president of the United States, who got 75 million votes, who got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. And they are trying to tell you, him, the direct competitor to the most corrupt president in the history of our country, they are trying to tell you you're not allowed to vote for him. That is a fucking civil war. That is literally a civil war. That is what is happening right now.
No, you're absolutely correct. And like that picture that you've always shown, Trump has been the only president in the last, 12 years that didn't go to war, that was trying to like remove people from other places. Man, Biden, you know what Biden said today? Did you hear this nonsense that he said today about America first does not make America strong? Like that was the soundbite. He was talking about, we can't do an American first, government. It doesn't make America strong. I was like, have you honest? Obviously, he has lost his mind. And that's why we're in this problem now. What happened to America first? You go to any other country, man, they taking a lot of them, not everyone, but a lot of them, they care their people first. People in other countries build walls, It was funny, there's a wall around the Vatican. There's a wall, separating hating the DR. There's a wall. There's walls everywhere. Yep. But if we do it, we're bad people. It's like it's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
I've played this clip 1,000 times, and I'm gonna play it again. This is why they hate him, and this is one of the best things he ever did.
I have been very, very direct with Secretary Stoltenberg and members of the alliance in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States. And many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years. Over the last 8 years, the United States spent more on defense than all other NATO countries combined. If all NATO members had spent just 2% of their GDP on defense last year, we would have had another $119 billion for our collective defense and for the financing of additional NATO reserves.
That is America. That is an alpha. That is a leader. That is America first. And we have, could you imagine Joe Biden doing that? Could you imagine Joe Biden going?
It's disgusting because it's middle class, working middle class and lower class families. Tax dollars go spread out. These countries made a deal that they would all pay a certain amount. And they're like, America will cover it. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Charge us? They're not going to do anything. They're not going to call us out. We're so weak. It's like, what? It's a joke, man. It's a joke. And every time I see that on Twitter, they're like, hey, we sent another $500 million to Ukraine. No big deal. And then you drive down the streets of America. And you're just like, what the freak, man?
Yep.
Like just build the roads back better, man. What the heck?
It's so sad that we've ended up in this place. But we've ended up this place because, and I'm not breaking any news here. It's because too many people on the conservative side, they want to play nice. Oh, we can't do that. We have to play by the rules. They don't play by the rules. They are never going to play by the rules.
Right. They never have.
There's no time to be respectful. It's not time to be respectful. There's not time to, be like, oh, I got to be the bigger person. No. The Donald Trump method is the method we need. When they go low, we go lower. Michelle Obama flops it out on the table and says that when they go low, we go high. No, the fuck you don't. Do the Donald Trump method. You hit me, I'm going to hit you back twice as hard. I'm going to hit you back twice as hard. And that's the method you got to have. And I can't believe that we are in this position, but that is why we are in this position.
It's because these idiots that run for office, and yeah, it's on the right too. At least that's my opinion. I'm not talking about Jeremy. They go into office making $60,000 a year, and they all leave multi-millionaires.
Yep.
How is that? How does that work? And nobody says anything. Nobody says, man, listen, I like Marco Rubio. He's in Florida. He's had his faults, but even he went in there, not a lot, and now he's worth like a couple $1 million. He's a Republican, but it's like, what? That shouldn't be. Why is Nancy Pelosi still in office and whatever? She's freaking rich out of her mind. It's just I just don't get it. Why isn't that being investigated? That should never be. A public servant is a public servant, not a career. But yeah, they go to war, people make money. They spread it around the world. These people make money, and then they leave office, and it's just like,
yep,
I'm loaded.
Katie Brown Eye with that wonderful picture says YouTube is down where I'm at. He's not simulcasting in Rumble. Yeah, I am. I'm on Rumble. So if you could drop the Rumble link right now, I'm live on Rumble, my D-Day Cobra channel. If you can, Eric or Cam Man, if you guys can drop a link not to the Rumble channel, but to the Rumble live stream, I will pin it to the top. And you guys can find my Rumble link over there. And I see you guys over there. We got 167 people on Rumble. I see some super chats over there. So I really appreciate it. All right, here we go. Right here. Pin. There we go. Hollywood Scholar got it. Oh, Eric got everybody got it. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And yeah, so
I know Nancy Pelosi retired, but I think she was in office for how long was she in office?
Good Lord, 89
120 years maybe?
Yeah.
She's made out of plastic now. Dear God. And it's just there should be term limits across the board, man. It just should be that should be number one. But Republicans won't vote on that, neither will Democrats. So it's why? Ask yourself why.
Exactly. Are you gonna hang? Our special guest is here, so
I want to listen, man. Robert Barnes, that dude, he's the king, man. I want to listen. I don't want to mess his name up like I did Frank Gore. Chat is MVP all the way. I love you guys, and
subscribe to Drunk 3PO.
Guests. Give him hell, man. Give him.
There's Jay. All right, chat. You all love Jay, and now it is time for the first time ever on CobraCast. Robert Barnes of Barnes Law. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Good.
Good to see you, man. Good to have you on. I got a lot of questions for you, Robert. But the first thing first is how's life been? I haven't talked to you much lately. So how's everything been going for you?
It's been wild. It's been an interesting time to be alive, that's for sure.
I bet, man. I bet you and Viva have been extremely busy answering questions, breaking things down. I saw you got community noted on Twitter or X, which I was a little critical of community notes when they first happened. And it's not because I think that it's done far more good than bad for sure, but it's always the fact checking process that is always flawed. And while we love when it owns the libs and the left wingers, and they typically get owned more than anybody because they're just spreading bullshit. When you put it out there, it's I think that's one of Trump's reasons why he's why would I come back there when they're just going to destroy every tweet that I put out? You know what I mean? So what happened with that community note where you blasted Governor Kemp?
Yeah, I mean, what was intriguing is I assume it came from Kemp's people because I put up 4 or 5 other posts that didn't quote Kemp that were not community noted. So that was a sign that, okay, it wasn't an algorithm. It wasn't, somebody tracking my account. It was Kemp's people being agitated. And I had direct interaction with Kemp during the Georgia election contest and his people. First thing Doug Collins told me is we can't rely on Kemp. He's a total coward. He may have used another word. So a word of something that Trump likes to grab, allegedly. And so he said Kemp will cower out. He won't back us. He won't, he'll run and hide. He won't necessarily be against us publicly, but he'll do nothing and be nothing. But I got him early on to agree to a letter. The early campaign letters sent out, I was drafting all of them there for like the first couple of weeks in November. And he agreed to one of them, which was that he supported doing a signature match check with party observers present. That's the key part. You're seeing all this disinformation out there that there was a signature match check in Georgia. There was a signature match check by the same corrupt election officials who mismanaged things in the first place. It was a signature match check they did not allow. In fact, in the indictment, they're alleging Mark Meadows committed a crime by simply asking to look at the signatures being matched. That's it, which is a party observer the party observer right to match signatures. And for those that don't know it, when you send in your mail-in ballot in Georgia, the only identification of any kind to declare that that was you who filled out that ballot and that you were a properly registered voter, et cetera, is that you sign the outside of the ballot application and they check that ballot against your voter registration card. And if the ballot signatures don't match, they have to throw out your ballot. The signature match check in Georgia never happened. Mark Elias and the Democratic Party sued Brad Ratberger, as I like to call him, the Secretary of State of Georgia, who is one of these kind of neo-Republican, old establishment, Georgia aristocratic planner class, corporate class kind of Republican. Plenty of them around Buckhead and places like that in Atlanta. Not from the country, not the MAGA crowd, not the people who elected Trump in Georgia. Yep. And he hated it when they called him they're calling me racist. They're calling me racist. So he was willing to bend over every which direction imaginable. I mean, you would have thought you were in a unique place for unique services by the nature of the different directions he took. But basically, he gave them everything they wanted, including mass mailing ballots to everybody and their brother and another. Dead people were getting ballots. People were getting 3 or 4 ballots at a home. People were getting ballots where they didn't live. Here in Nevada, I got 3 ballots. I mean, if I wanted to, I could have filled them all 3, and all 3 would have passed. And I mean, that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
But then he compounded his error by not checking to make sure that the voters that were voting were actually qualified to vote, which in Georgia meant you actually were registered to vote at your habitation, at your county, and that you still live there at the time you voted. You couldn't have moved to another county. You couldn't have moved to another address. You couldn't have moved out of state. You couldn't have voted out of state. You had to be at least 18. You couldn't be a felon. And maybe most importantly, you had to actually be alive at the time you passed the ballot. There are dead people who voted, people who moved who voted,
there is.
kids who voted, criminals and felons who voted, people who supposedly lived in a post office box about this big. They voted. That was their habitation inside a post office. Illegal in Georgia, which made it unconstitutional under the United States Constitution. And then the way you could have caught a lot of those ballots, including there was crazy number of ballots from apartment complexes and nursing homes that were, and it wasn't like consistently. Like you'd have 2 nursing homes in the same neighborhood. One of them had 90% turnout. The other one had 50% turnout. You know what happened. Somebody sat there in the middle of the nursing home, took in everybody's ballots, filled it out for them, and sent it back. Or they gave them to some mules, like 2,000 mules, and dropped them off. 2,000 mules is mostly about Georgia.
And it's fantastic, by the way. If people haven't seen 2,000 Mules, you should definitely go. I checked that the day it came out, supported it. I think I gave him extra money for it too, just because, I mean, I wanted to support it. So phenomenal documentary. Phenomenal.
Absolutely. And what they caught on tape, for those that didn't see it, and I do absolutely recommend it, is it's a bunch of people delivering more than one ballot, right? They're clearly not delivering their own ballot. They're delivering somebody else's ballot.
Clearly not.
And of course, they're doing it with gloves on. The gloves they take off once they put the ballots in. It's like they're saying, oh, they're doing this for COVID. What, did COVID disappear after they dropped the ballots in the box? So the other way you could have caught 80% of this is you just match the signatures. Because when you're busy defrauding, when you're busy filling out somebody else's ballot, you know, somebody who's either dead, somebody who didn't actually cast that ballot, or by some other crooked method, then the easy way, you couldn't catch all of the methods, like the felons who were voting, the young kids who were voting, people who had moved, the people who were double voting. You couldn't catch all of them, but you could catch a decent number of them. But you could catch all the dead people who are voting, because that would the signatures wouldn't match. And so what did they do? They removed all the signature matching procedures in Georgia. And so all of a sudden, mail-in ballots that on average were rejected at a 3% rate in Georgia, they have the greatest number of mail-in ballots ever, which means the rate of rejection should go up because you have people doing it for the first time. And it magically, dramatically declined by over 90%.
Yep.
So, and it was 100 times more than the margin of victory, just the signatures that likely didn't match, not even including the more than 100,000 actual voter names we found in Georgia that were not qualified to vote under Georgia's rules, whose ballots were counted in the Georgia election. And then you had how they did the counting and canvassing, because we have general rules in the country that if you don't follow the counting and canvassing rules, we disqualify those ballots as a deterrent, as a prophylactic rule against people abusing that process. What is the most important part of that process? That a candidate's own observers be allowed in the room when you canvass the ballots. And what is that about? That's making sure the person's qualified to vote. That's making sure the signatures match before you open up the ballot and separate it from the envelope forever. They didn't do it. They didn't allow any party observers in the room when they were doing any of the canvassing. The next part is when you count the ballots. Now, they decided in Fulton County to do a mass store, and Fulton County was just one of the counties. The biggest abuse actually took place in the suburban parts of Fulton County, not the urban core of Fulton County. And if you think about it, you can figure out why. We actually did a map. I said, take a look at where Stacey Abrams had unusual overvotes, which I only knew about, by the way, because the Democratic lieutenant governor sued the state, claiming it made no sense that he didn't get as many votes as Stacey Abrams. What he didn't realize is he was disclosing that Stacey Abrams had a bunch of bogus votes.
It's amazing how she's not under any investigation for defrauding the election or
exactly for election denying.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a crime.
I know.
It's right up there with Holocaust denying.
Yep.
Of course, it's not election denying; it's fraud denying. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
But the nature of what so we dug in and we did an analysis. A couple of guys from the White House came down, took off time. A couple of great guys, Patrick Witt, some other guys whose names I won't mention, who were there. They did deep data analysis. And I said, take a look and see if it's the same precincts and the same addresses where there was unusual overvoting in 2018, if it happened again at 2020, just on a bigger scale. And by golly, it sure did. Magically, Stacey Abrams, where she got overvotes, Joe Biden magically got overvotes. What I mean by overvotes is people who somehow only voted for president and forgot to vote for the Senate. Right? There are two big Senate races at issue there. Forgot to vote for the House, forgot to vote for the state legislature. I mean, these were your cheap criminals. What happens when you outsource the fraud is you get nitwit, midwit criminals like the ones they caught in Michigan, right? You know, they're just signing Joe's name and Jack's name and Jill's name and everybody else's name in there. So we had the overlap, and it was all disproportionately. The reason why I was in the suburbs and not the urban core is because it was where there were nursing homes and big apartment complexes. And then it made perfect sense. And where they had post office box voters.
Of course.
And it's because it's somewhere where there was a centralized location where somebody could get access to the ballots and vote for other people. And that's why that's where the biggest fraud took place at the most systemic level. But in Fulton County, they decided to count many of the suburban counties the same around Atlanta. They decided to count all the ballots, not in the local precinct, but at one centralized location. Well, how are they going to count the ballots, make sure a party observer is present to watch it done correctly? That's when the magic water pipe
rose. Yes.
And the reason they did that was to get the Republican Party observers to go home.
Let me ask you this. Where was this water pipe at? Because why is this hindering counting is what I need to understand. How do they sell this one?
Because go ahead.
No, yeah, because I mean, to me, so we played that. I played that clip on my last episode of CobraCast just to be like, we should be this clip again. You could come up with all the scenarios, but to get the normies just to understand it, you play that clip of it, and it's like, this is what we witnessed on election night. This does not add up. This does not make sense. You watch this play out with your own eyes. Trump was leading. I can't remember by how much. I think he was leading by maybe double digits at that point. It was close. I mean, I know they still had counting that they needed to do, but suddenly that happened, and that was so abnormal, and it made no sense. And of course, we all went to bed, and we all woke up, and it's almost like we knew what was going to happen. But it's just, we witnessed that happen. And that's the simple way to show the normies, this doesn't add up. 2 + 2 does not equal 4. So what is the whole thing behind that water pipe? water main or whatever it was.
The first thing that frankly, the Republicans never should have been allowed. The reason why Trump's campaign people were asleep at the wheel is because Trump had delegated his entire campaign to the Republican National Committee. The lawyers representing the Trump campaign were the lawyers for Brad Ratberger. And that was still when I got down there. They were busy lying to Trump when I got down to Georgia about his rights to recount and things of that nature. And the first big mistake they made is normally what happens is you go to a precinct. That's where they canvass the votes at that precinct. They count the votes at that precinct, and then they report the votes to a centralized location. Fulton County decided to magically change this in 2020 and decided that they weren't going to canvass or count any of the ballots at the local precinct. They were instead going to ship them to one centralized location where all the counting and canvassing happened. All kinds of problems with that. For example, it's a lot harder to sneak in a bunch of illegal ballots at 100 different precincts.
True.
A lot easier, one centralized location.
Yep.
And we had direct witness reports, by the way, who saw that occur at Fulton County. That's why we kept the Secretary of State Ratberger had said, "Hey, I'm going to publish all the ballots." That's how this sweetheart deal I got with Dominion. All you Georgians are going to love it because we're going to publish every single ballot after the election. He still hasn't published the ballots after 2020. Why might that be significant? Because the ballots might look weird. There was reports of ballots that all seemed uniquely folded in the same way, that seemed like they hadn't been sent through the mail and yet purportedly were mail-in ballots. In other words, there would be physical indicators that somebody might have just dumped 10 boxes of ballots, or that might have just printed them. The problem with the machines, one of the big problems of the machines, is you lose ballot chain of custody. So like typically the way ballots work is you ship them and you only order so many, and they have a little number on them. Why you do that? You do that so that somebody can't add to that ballot tally somehow by just stuffing the ballot box the old-fashioned way. Here, by using the machines at a centralized location, you couldn't track custody. But if they had printed them all, you might see anomalies in those ballots. You might see anomaly in the numbering of those ballots. All of those things. And I think that's why they didn't print them. But by putting them in a centralized location and not canvassing and counting until then, that's what allowed the water leak to work. It couldn't have worked if they'd said 100 precincts suddenly have a water leak.
Yeah.
But one location,
that makes
oh
sense.
man, it's really bad. We're going to have to wait until morning. Hey, everybody go home. Don't worry about it. And that's when it came out later. The videotape is within an hour of every Republican observer being, and I got direct contact from Republican Party observers who were there at the scene who were enraged. They said that there was going to be no more vote counting. They wake up and they found out there'd been vote counting overnight. Then we got the videotape where there's literally big buckets. I mean, I think they tried to strike Crowder because of how he defined the buckets. They're like, they weren't boxes. Those were buckets. Yeah. Like that's a difference. All pulled them out from underneath the table and it was count without anybody watching. And that violated of Georgia election law, which in turn violates the Constitution because the Constitution says a presidential election has to be done according to the rules set by the state legislature and nobody else. Can't be the rules set by the courts. Can't be the rules set by the governor or the Secretary of State. Has to be only the rules set by the state legislature. And that's why every part of the election, who voted, how they voted, how the votes were counted and canvassed, were all done in violation of Georgia election law and the Constitution, which required legally the election be thrown out. But Trump brought his election contest, and what happened? Under Georgia law, this is what the community notes nonsense was about.
Yes.
So I put it under Georgia law. Trump only filed one election contest. There's all these allegations. He filed all these suits. It's not true. A lot of people filed suits, but Trump himself only filed one election contest. It was Georgia. It was detailed with over 100 specific allegations of particular facts and over 425 pages of sworn affidavits of documentary and testimonial evidence, direct and specific on point, that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt his case. Under Georgia law, 5 days they had to schedule a hearing. They had to hold the hearing in 10 days. Georgia courts never did. They didn't schedule until after January 6th. I commented on that. Kemp knows this. Kemp lied about it. Kemp didn't participate in the proceedings. Kemp did nothing to make sure the Fulton County court judges that he appointed did their job. The Georgia Appeals Court went and hid. Georgia Supreme Court went and hid. And so there was never a hearing despite the plain violation of the law. And then what the community notes says. So I point out Kemp's lying. He's lying about the signature match being conducted. He's lying about every aspect of what took place in the election. He's lying about the election contest. And the community notes talks about other cases, not the Georgia election contest, pretending that I was somehow talking about the election contest, about some other case other than the election contest.
And see, and that's the danger of it. There's a community note. Most people, I would argue, and I would just do this from experience. Like I run a website, I'm on YouTube. To get people to click an external link is pretty damn hard on the internet. You may get 5 or 10% of people to actually click the external link if you're promoting it or whatever. All people are going to see is that community note. They're not going to actually look at the context. All they're going to see is that, oh, it was community noted. That means that whatever was said is a lie or needed context, and it's destroyed the entire narrative of whatever's being said because they're not going to actually click the link. So the entire narrative has been destroyed off of whatever community note that happens on. And that's what bothers me about it is the context is not important on the internet. It's the action that takes place that destroys whatever you were trying to say or anyone else was trying to say. And that's my problem with it. That's what bothers me about it.
And what's extraordinary was whoever wrote that note, I think honestly did not know. And it's because to this day, I run into old school Republicans, Trump supporters, who didn't know about the Georgia election contest. Because, I mean, partially what happened, this is why I was not, I mean, I was representing President Trump for several weeks. Then what happened is some people came to Sidney Powell, told her that they had the inside intel and info, and, you know, they suckered her, unfortunately. You know, if no offense to Cuba. Yeah, no offense to any Cubans out there, but if somebody says they're Cuban intelligence, run. Don't you know that's always a bad indicator. Go back to the Kennedy assassination. That doesn't work out well. So those are deep state operatives for 60 years. I mean, they go back to the mob in the 40s and the 50s. But it was those people who convinced her of like the German servers, of Iranian ballots, of Venezuelan software, of Chinese secret ballots coming into the country. And the Kraken and Dominion took on such dominance in the court of public opinion that even Trump supporters didn't know that the best election contest had actually been filed and the courts were hiding from it. And I think to this day, I think whoever wrote that community note doesn't know what I'm referencing. They're referencing other cases that had nothing to do with Trump.
Yep.
Nothing to do with an election contest, nothing to do with that case.
That's what bothers me about it. Again, I do think that it has done a lot of good, but in the wrong hands, which it will end up getting eventually, the majority will be in the wrong hands. It will destroy it. And I think Trump will get community noted like hell if he comes back to Twitter. I really do. So
I said from day one, he wasn't because of the degree of his interest in truth, if it succeeds, is worth about 1.5 billion. So he has literally 1.5 billion reasons not to come back to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I agree, he doesn't trust it at all.
Yep, 100%.
Not after he got burned last time. He was like,
and he shouldn't. And he shouldn't.
And definitely not. Musk is kind of playing a game. He's like, he wants all the benefits of it being a free speech, free public square, etc. If he was sincere, I said from day one he'd have Alex Jones back. He hasn't. So I've said there's obvious real limits there. And I think he's been an improvement over what it was.
100%. Absolutely he has.
But you can see with that new CEO, I was hopeful because she liked some conservatives that maybe she was a quiet conservative. But she's out there either she's lying to everybody, saying they're going to decelerate the bad stuff on Twitter, or Musk is planning on getting back some advertising cash, not bleeding tons of money, and is going to turn Twitter back to censorship universe.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an improvement over Jack Dorsey's Twitter. No doubt about that. I mean, I got paid for the first time today. It's a nice little pocket change. And I think I don't tweet a lot, but I will if I start getting paid for it. But I'll post more Trump memes. But let me ask you this. Okay, so we've got 4 indictments now for Donald Trump. Everybody here watching, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We're on Rumble, we're on YouTube. We have the great Robert Barnes here, and we got him for a little while, so we're going to ask him some questions. I know some of you sent some questions in as well. So, excuse me, I am a massive Trump supporter. I'm a Trump or nothing guy. I am from the state of Florida. I loved when Ron DeSantis was my governor, but as soon as he started to maneuver and basically turn on Trump. And I believe, in my opinion, that Ron DeSantis basically went with the way he thought the wind was going to blow. I think he probably got information from a bunch of rhinos and probably even some leftists that Trump was going to be bogged down with legalities, and he was not going to be able to be on the ballot to some extent, and he felt like he would be positioned to be the front runner, and that has completely backfired on him. It has completely backfired on him. Trump's support has gone through the roof. And so my question for you now is that we have these 4 indictments now. What is the realistic possibility that Donald Trump is not going to be on the ballot come next year?
Almost none. So I've litigated this as much as anybody in the country. So I mostly in the context of third parties and independent candidates trying to get on the ballot. But I followed some of the cases concerning Obama, concerning McCain, concerning others in the past. And basically what the Constitution says, if you fit 3 categories, if you're over 30, 35, at least 35 years of age, and you have been a resident for 14 years in the United States, and you are a natural born citizen, then that's it. And the Supreme Court and other courts have constantly ruled that no state can add any qualification to that. And their only grounds to exclude from the ballot is that the candidacy is so frivolous that nobody has any interest in it. Now, that's a BS grounds, but that's the grounds they use to try to keep third parties and independent candidates and those people. But I've won those suits a lot more often than not, on behalf of Jill Stein, on behalf of Ralph Nader, on behalf of the Libertarian Party, Green Party, Peace and Freedom Party, Independent Party, Taxpayers Party, Tea Party, you name it. Constitution Party. I've represented them at one time or another, and we win those suits a lot more often than we lose, because you can't deny people the right to pick who they want as long as they meet the constitutional qualifications. And so that's why even liberals and leftists in the institutional media are saying we can't keep him off the ballot. James Comey was like, well, even if we convict him, we can't keep him off the ballot. And they're now starting to get scared. They all assumed that as long as they indicted him, that would kill Trump. And now they're realizing that doesn't happen. So like, well, as long as we get a conviction before Election Day, they're convinced with some bad bogus polling that will kill Trump. When that doesn't happen, there's already some saying, golly gee, what happens if he's indicted? What happens if he's even in jail and he's elected president of the United States? They don't know what to do in that instance.
I mean, one of my favorite thing ever.
I know my favorite memes right now has him wanted, like an old wanted poster, and then at the bottom it says for president.
Yes.
They keep underestimating the American people.
Yes.
We saw kind of a preview with it with Alex Jones. The lawyers who brought all those crazy lawsuits again, and they got that ridiculous verdict, and they're wanting to do the same kind of trials. I was telling people who didn't care about Jones, it's like, pay attention to this. They're going to use this as a template. They use Jones as a template to censor people off the internet. They're going to use this lawfare and say, hey, can we get away with completely ridiculous trials? That even communist Cuba would have been embarrassed with these show trials. The Stasi and the Soviets and Levant Beria would be embarrassed by these show trials. It was trials where Jones couldn't say he was innocent. Jones couldn't defend himself. He was presumed guilty as a matter of law. The only question was how much in damages, but any bad evidence could be used against him. And they literally had movie cameras right on the jury during the whole trial in Texas. So it was a complete embarrassment, and yet there was too few complaints from many institutional conservatives because, it's Alex Jones. They're thinking now, I bet we can get away with this with Trump.
Yep.
Now, their mistake with Jones was they said so after the trial verdicts, hey, now Alex Jones and InfoWars is dead. They're gone. His audience will abandon him. They're not going to stick with a guy who we proved is this big liar, blah, 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 blah. They didn't prove that because of how they tried the cases. But what happened? Alex Jones' audience went up. I mean, they understood who he was. They understood what he was about. They understood both the mistakes he had made and how many things he got right. I mean, the Alex Jones right jar is a lot richer than the Alex Jones was wrong jar.
Damn right it is.
And so, I mean, even it was funny. There's a great meme out there comparing him on Rogan and other statements he's made with Bobby Kennedy's interview with Jordan Peterson and some others, where Bobby Kennedy's talking about, they're turning the frogs gay. And so you have, Jones's reactions like, this is what I've been saying for 50 years. Yep. But the net effect, it's the same with Trump. They really believed we indict him, they'll go away. Okay, well, maybe it's not the indictment, but once we get a conviction, even if it's a show trial, even if it's a joke of a trial, even if we deny him discovery, even if we rig the jury pool, even if we rig the evidence, then surely the Republicans will then understand, oh, we're so sorry we ever backed them, and we're here to back whoever the Republican establishment tells us to, or we'll rally and understand that Joe Biden is the only reasonable leader in this time of crisis. It's not going to happen. I still think election day verdict day is going to be election day. And whether they like it or not, the American people's verdict is going to be Trump innocent, Trump president. And then the question is what they do. And everybody needs to be awake and alert. And
scorched earth at that point. Now,
Yeah.
do you think it's possible that he will be convicted before the election? Do you think there's what do you think the chances of that happening are?
In a normal case, never, because these cases are so complex factually, so dense in terms of discovery, so complicated in terms of the legal issues presented, that it is inconceivable to see them reaching trial in less than 18 months. Just your average federal criminal case that has any degree of complexity averages 18 months between indictment and trial. That takes it past election day. There's some of these the RICO case, that's insanely complicated and complex. You got 18, 19 defendants, 41 in charges. You're bringing RICO charges that have never been brought in the history of election cases or context or politics, period.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's just insanity.
And they're trying to start this the day before Super Tuesday, right? They're trying to get.
Well, right now they're competing with one another.
Insane.
So right now, New York has them scheduled for a January trial on another defamation trial for that lunatic who the first even commie lefty jurors in New York said she made up the rape allegation. But that crazy wacko federal judge who hates Trump is trying to force another defamation case in January. The January 6th case they want to bring in January. They want a New York March criminal case in March. And they want the new Georgia case brought in March. And then they want the Florida case in May. They want him in trial in times that he can't be in both places at the same time. Literally impossible. And yet he's legally required to be present for these criminal cases.
So, I can't imagine the American people are going to not see through this. I mean, obviously, Trump has the strongest base of any politician we've ever seen. So the base is there. That's not a question. But I have to imagine the people in the middle, this is going to wake them up and make them realize that this is a sham. I just have to imagine that good will win over evil in this situation. There's not a scenario in my mind where Donald Trump is not the president in 2024. I just don't see it. I've often talked about, I mean, you have to, in life, the art imitating life, yada, yada, yada. I mean, in life, you have to have the good with the bad, and then it comes full circle. I've talked about with Trump that this is like the original Star Wars trilogy, A New Hope, 2016, The Empire Strikes Back, 2020, and then it's Return of the Jedi in 2024. And you don't get to that point without having the low point. You had to have the low point, and I'm not sure Trump could have done what he needed to do fully in 2020 without going through what he's gone through. So now in 2024, he would get what we all wanted him to do in 2020, because I know there's a lot of criticism with Trump that, he didn't, truly eradicate the deep state, or he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He surrounded himself with bad people. I think there's some realistic criticisms to give Trump in his first term, but the good far outweighs the bad. And I do think that a lot of his personnel decisions were because in order to drain the swamp, you actually had to embrace the swamp a little bit. And because you can't walk into office and just run the entire country with literal unknowns from the world of that. You got to have some people that know the world of politics. But 2020, when his second term, I believe that's where he was ready to go scorched earth, because there was nothing left to prove that you need to win re-election and then go all in. That's what my assumption was. What do you say to that? You look at it that way too?
Yeah, it's a couple of things. I mean, I try to tell people in 2017 when I was up there for the Deplorable, I was a co-sponsor of and all that. I was telling them, I was like, this whole town is about to wage war on them. And there was still too much naivete and idealism, even for Steve Bannon and other people. And they underappreciated the scale of it. I was like, these people are going to see him as an existential threat. They're going to see him the way the Brits saw Benjamin Franklin when he was actually trying to advocate to end the American budding revolution by shifting blame to the governor of Massachusetts. that he'd actually succeeded in getting the American populace to. But the Brits were so enraged that he could possibly leak those letters to that person's embarrassment they saw as part of the British aristocracy in America, and they found him offensive himself, that he could have these heirs as an American to their privileged status as peers and lords, that they went after him, and they went after him so much that he became a permanent enemy and the key to the American Revolution succeeding. And you had a deep state apparatus that was so accustomed to power that the only time it had been meaningfully challenged was with President John Kennedy. And John Kennedy made the same mistakes Trump made. John Kennedy put Curtis Bombs Away LeMay in his position of power. The people who represented Operation Northwoods were people who he appointed. Like Trump, he underappreciated the depth and severity of the problem. Trump came in thinking, look, they'll see that I'm smart. They'll see the country's with me. They'll see I got common sense solutions. I'll be able to work with them and it won't be a problem. And I'll be able to work with the party and it won't be a problem. I'll be able to work with Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell and it won't be a problem. He had very little understanding and appreciation of how severe, and he had to be constantly re-educated by it, in which the COVID and then the election were the ultimate educational lessons for him. You're right. He was getting much better. The people who brought me in to help on the election were people in the Office of Personnel and Management, and they were the hardcore populist people, hardcore, as one of them said, I was MAGA before MAGA existed. And they were bringing in the top high quality people. They were the ones who told me about the Michigan scandal all the way back on January 6th, that Bill Barr had covered up for what happened in Michigan, that they caught people red-handed, that he had suppressed it, and all the rest. So I knew that story before Gateway Pundit published it a couple of weeks ago. He would have been much improved, but I agree with you. The lesson of the last 4 years is critical for Trump, but it's also critical for the country. I don't think the country appreciated how bad our FBI had become, how bad our military industrial complex had become, how bad our banking and financial elite had become. There was about, I think, a third of the country that was alert and aware, that was red-pilled, but there was another third of the country that was not. Like right now, the biggest group that's shifting from Biden 2020 to Trump 2024 are minority and millennial working class voters. Why? Because they're like, man, when Trump was around, there was Savannah Hernandez did one of these interviews with a working class black woman outside of a grocery store. And she's like, whatever with Trump, at least we didn't have this shit. This guy's an idiot. The economy's terrible. What does he mean the economy's good? The economy's terrible. Everything's bad. They can't afford rent. They can't afford housing payments. They can't even afford a car payment. They can't afford their credit card payment. Highest interest rate it's ever been. Their excess savings are gone. People are literally borrowing money at usurious interest rates, 1 out of 5 Americans, to buy friggin' groceries, And they got this nitwit dementia candidate telling them economy good, economy great. And so we got poverty at home and war abroad. With Trump, we had prosperity at home and peace abroad. And I think that appreciation of Trump is much greater amongst the American people because of these intermediary 4 years.
Agreed. And you can't raise gas prices to the point they're at. You can't have food costs at the level they're at. I've even heard from people in my family that do not pay attention to politics. They don't really even know what I do on YouTube. And I hear them saying, like, went to the store the other day, there's nothing on the shelf. They were out of X, Y, and Z. At some point in time, there's got to be a breaking point, and I feel like we've already reached that point. And the desperation to get rid of Donald Trump it's reaching a level that is unheard of. And this is where, as much as I may have criticisms from Elon Musk on certain aspects, thank God he bought Twitter, because Twitter is a different place to have discussions. It just is. It's a different place to have discussions than it was. Thank God for Rumble. Rumble's obviously elevated massively. And if you go back to 2020, I'll never forget when they took Trump down on Twitter, when they took him down on YouTube and on all of big tech. I felt like I'm not a type of guy that gets really down about stuff. I usually can just, I can usually be like, all right, it sucks, but we can power through. That was a low point for me just as an American, because I'm like, how are we in a situation where the sitting president of the United States of America, who just got 75 million votes, forget all the debate on who won, who didn't win, whatever. The sitting president just got taken off of all social media This is insane. And then the whole Parler, I've asked my chat before, I can't remember. Did Parler happen after Trump got taken down? Yeah, it was after Trump got taken down. That's when they took Parler offline, right?
Well, yeah, all within the same time frame of January 6th, where the goal was to, I mean, for Trump talking about what Time Magazine bragged about. Time Magazine had a big article about how they fixed the election, how they changed the rules in a midnight raid of ballots that also came in after midnight. And that's what he's talking about on the eve of January 6th, the opportunity to present meaningful discussion and debate. And that's when they take him down on January 6th and right after January 6th, they take Parler down. Massive suppression and censorship and attempt to create a fake narrative. They hid the videos. I mean, I remember talking about early on, a week after January 6th. I mean, I was in D.C. I would have been it's amazing that I dodged it because in Georgia, I mean, I put together 90% of what was in that election contest. But once, the RNC just wouldn't get back to whether they're going to hire me or not. And then Sidney Powell came in and Rudy came in. And I was like, this is going to go down a path that it's just not going to be productive. So I'm going to head home and do my own thing. Had I hung around, I would have been indictee number 20 in that thing. I was telling Alex today, I was like, we dodged a bullet. We would have been 20 and 21. But for all that. And on January 6th, I was going to be down at the Capitol. Alex was down there telling people to stay out, but
Alex had a megaphone telling people, don't do this. This is what they want. You go around. And of course, amazingly, those videos didn't really get resurfaced on all the hit pieces that come out about Alex.
Completely. So it's the only reason they couldn't indict him is because he was down there telling everybody, don't go in, stay out, come back out, was asking Capitol Police to be able to broadcast over the speaker system.
Yep.
But I was almost down there. I wasn't there because these folks that were part of the White House had invited me over to hang out at one. This guy had a great office, beautiful office, because to watch everything that was going to happen. But what was supposed to happen was the robust debate in the House and the Senate, and all of this was a setup. I mean, Mike Pence was part of the setup. He deliberately misled people to believe he was going to exercise the same power that John Adams exercised in 1796, the same power that Thomas Jefferson exercised in 1800, the same power that Alexander Hamilton said they had the power to do. And what was that? Choose between contested alternate sets of electors. There was disputes over Vermont in 1796 and disputes in 1800 in Georgia. And by the way, those disputes were weak. Those disputes were about a typo. And Hamilton and Jefferson were considering screwing over one group or the other so they could elect themselves president. I mean, if there was a conflict, that was it. Those guys said the vice president had that power. 1876, everybody admitted the vice president had that power. That's why the House grabbed it from him and dragged it out with a long filibuster so they could create the commission that led to the Compromise of 1876 and his fraudulency the first, Rutherford B. Hayes get in. We now have his fraudulency the second in our current White House. But that's what should have happened on January 6th. It doesn't happen because of these censorship efforts. It doesn't happen because of the smear campaigns. It doesn't happen because of the red herrings that were out there. And it doesn't happen because Mike Pence is part of a complicit conspiracy to bring people in. And most people didn't see what happened. I knew people that were down there that said, we were just hanging out and all of a sudden the cops are gassing us and beating us. And we were trying to respond. And that's how part of the people ended into conflict. Another group came down and they said, we were just waved into the building. We thought that's what we were supposed to do. And of course, they were hiding all that. Now the former Capitol Police chief came out and they said all of that to Tucker Carlson, but we knew some of that at the time. So this was one long extended gaslighting on the American people. And they're hoping these indictments can achieve the same outcome. What they don't realize is they pushed the limit so badly with Trump and so badly with COVID that they lost the confidence of the American people. Patrick Bet-David was talking about that today. You have never had a lower level of confidence in the institutions and the gatekeeper media than you do right now.
That's
and it's why they can't. It reminded like the El Salvadoran populist president who came in. He came in as kind of a left guy, but he realized that the left party was just a bunch of corrupt grifters who were lining their own pockets. So he decides he's going to do his own thing. And what do? They try to kick him out of the party, keep him off the ballot, try to put him in criminal prosecutions against him, and try to do various coups against him. What they didn't realize is the El Salvadoran public was done with it. He's now the most popular leader in the entire world, over 91% approval, dramatic reductions in crime. And those two political parties that had dominated El Salvador for a half a century, they're in single digits. So that's what people don't. Well, how do those mistakes happen? They're making the same mistakes now.
Yes,
they
they
don't
are.
understand the American electorate. They think
And-
they're let them eat cake populists, and they don't realize they're coming to guillotine.
And if you look at if you just look like it's tangible, the support for Trump and non-leftists. So I'll put them both in the same boat, because I hope that, because there's still a lot of non-leftists that really haven't gotten fully on board on the Trump train, which I still doesn't make sense to me, because if you're not a leftist, then what the hell are you waiting for? You know what I mean? Because he's the only guy to support. But all of your prominent people, everywhere you turn, like, there's no Biden rallies, even when Biden's not there. There's MAGA rallies when Trump ain't even there. There's people everywhere. MAGA looks like a college football Saturday at just a random MAGA party on the lake or something. It's enthusiasm that's tangible. It's real. And you couple that with, you just mentioned Patrick Bet-David. Patrick Bet-David's not like a MAGA flag waving guy per se, but he's clearly at a point where he realizes Donald Trump's the guy that should be running this country. And there's so many people out there like that. And the only people that are kind of pro-Biden are your Hollywood weirdos who, again, there's a reason that they get paid to pretend to be someone else, because they are boring idiots in real life. So when they give their real thoughts, you see how deranged and detached that they are. And a bunch of people that are obsessed with identity politics. Those are really the only people that are Biden supporters.
And your statist. Your people
Yes,
who depend on the government for their lining their pocket.
Exactly.
Your
exactly.
teachers, your bureaucrats, and your lobbyists in the industries that get wealthy connected to them. But yeah, I mean, that's what, like, if they were paying attention to these surveys, they kept trying to explain this to all the DeSimps. I was like, look, there's this group out there that's massively shifted. There's a reason why polls that never had Trump up have Trump up. NPR, Marist, New York Times. I mean, just your all your institutional media, The Economist, YouGov, you name it, Morning Consult, all these polls that always showed Trump down on average by double digits to Biden, as an example, have Trump leading now. Why? Because these working class millennials and minorities are abandoning the Democratic Party in mass. I mean, Biden may still win that vote, but he's not going to win it by 40, 50 points. He's going to win it by like 10 or 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a devastating defeat.
Massive.
And especially when you look at the electoral map, because that vote is concentrated in the swing states, in the close states. That's why right now, none of those Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, the election was held today. Trump wins by 5 points or more in all of them. I mean, and it's hard to steal that many ballots. I mean, think about how much effort they made to steal the 2020 election, and they still only got it by narrow little thin ground.
That's right.
Try to steal 5 times that many ballots.
Ain't gonna happen.
It's hard work even for the best of crooks.
Absolutely. So I know that our chat, and I know almost all chats, are a big fan of Trump's lead attorney. I think his lead attorney, Alina Habba, for obvious reasons.
Someone was suggesting that I needed a different recruitment strategy to get Trump's attention. That I needed to be looking at like OnlyFans and some other places. Hey, this is my new legal associate, Judge Donald. What do you think?
So do you know her? And I want to know your overall opinion of his legal team, because I've talked about this many times. I don't know what it's like to, and no one does, obviously, to be Donald Trump. Who do you trust? Because you could say it about like a lot of well-known people, celebrities, well-known people. Everything you kind of do is under a microscope. That is times a million with Donald Trump. Every move the man makes, every breath he takes, every handshake, everything this man does, he has to think 5 steps ahead. So with his legal team, what is your assessment of them? Do you know them? Do you have confidence in them? Because this is obviously a very tough task to defend Donald Trump. Obviously, they're locking up his previous attorneys. Or at least they're attempting to. So what's your assessment of his legal team?
He faces the same problem that any client or any individual out there that's facing political cases. So there's really 4 types of lawyers out there, but most people only see 3. And you either get the crazy outsider that's so outside they're too crazy to know how to work the system, or you get the corrupt insider that's very effective inside the system, but on political cases will sabotage and betray you, or is too conventional and corporate a mindset to truly challenge and contest and question the system, or you get a strip mall lawyer. And Trump is at all three. I mean, he's had the Michael Cohens, the strip mall lawyers. They're cheap for a reason. And it tends to backfire on you over time, and particularly in political cases. And they'll sell you out for, $1 and a penny. The corporate insiders are too conventional. They won't throw the bombs and the grenades against the system and institution that has served them so long. You cut them and they bleed government blue. You see that in guys like Ty Cobb that are still taking pot shots at his client, which I find outrageous. I mean, I've had only a few clients. I've had a privilege of representing mostly clients in cases and causes I like because I get a lot of selection in my own choices of what cases I take. But I've had one or two clients that were, one in particular that was utterly horrendous. And even that guy, until he attacked me publicly, I never said anything about him. And I don't go out of my way to bash him randomly. The fact that Ty Cobb, Trump paid him very well, constantly. One, he leaked information to Bob Woodward that he never should have. That was attorney-client privilege communication. And now he's still out there doing CNN interviews, taking pot shots. They're untrustworthy, particularly in political cases when you're the outsider. And then the crazy outsiders, the risk is they're so far outside, they don't know how to work the system. In reality, there is a fourth lawyer type, and that's your strategically smart, politically savvy, outside-the-box lawyer. But I can name those on two hands in the entire country in these kind of cases. Okay. So I have always advised Trump to find that kind. He did with Alan Dershowitz, but Dershowitz says he has a commitment. He only represents a client once. It's because he didn't want to get a reputation of being that guy's lawyer. He just wanted to be that case lawyer, but not that guy's lawyer. So I thought there's other people out there in this space that can do that kind of representation, but it's tough to get Trump's attention. And Trump, coming from the business world, I've had a lot of clients that fit this. They just don't understand the law. They don't understand why it's irrational. They don't understand quite why it's corrupt, why it can be corrupt in ways that are almost unpredictable. They don't understand lawyers. They have immediate distrust. They figure these people just want their hands in my pocket. So they tend to go cheap, or they tend to go corporate, or the conventional guys that everybody recommends that have the approval of the right schools and right firms, or they get attracted to an outsider, but the outsider ends up so wacko, they end up blowing things up in ways that are counterproductive. And these lawyers he has right now are almost all he has a few strip mall lawyer types that are a little above average, but most of them are your corporate types. So they're solid, but they won't be throwing the grenades they should be throwing. Like, for example, apparently his Georgia lawyer said, don't do the Monday presentation on why the Georgia election was stolen. I disagree with that entirely. He should double down, triple down, quadruple down, keep hammering away. He's got a robust case in Georgia. I get having Alina. I think she's nice. I think she's a, sweet, well-minded person. She met him at his Bedminster Club in New Jersey. Does she have the skill set to really take this on in the court of public opinion, the court of law? No. She's someone that, you could be part of a team, but you wouldn't want to be. I mean, she's a lot better than Jenna Ellis. But and she's an upgrade.
I got out-of-date milk in my fridge was better than Jenna Ellis at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, that tells you how out of touch Fulton County is. They added her to the indictment. I'm like, she's even anti-Trump now, and you're throwing her in. You don't know what you're doing. But
is the hope to put her on there in case she flips? But I don't think that matters, right? Because it's a RICO case, right?
Correct.
So
it told me how out of touch they were.
Okay.
That they didn't know who to like. Don't add. If I was the Atlanta and I want to take out Trump, I don't add John Eastman. I get the California bar so crazy they're going after him. John Eastman, for those that don't know, is one of the most well-respected constitutional lawyers in the country. Like you could add Rudy. I wouldn't recommend adding Rudy. Rudy's more politically savvy than he comes across sometimes in the court of law because he hadn't been in the court of law a lot, and that's where he got taken sideways there. And God bless Rudy, but he's got to wake up without two bourbons, pat before noon. But and got to have a better, hire, be a little more careful about what assistants you hire. I mean, some of the conversations she take Rudy with, those are conversations you could have in the 1970s. Not so much today.
Read the room, read the times, Rudy.
Yeah, exactly. Rudy has it. I mean, the reason why Trump didn't push harder on the RNC to bring in our team was in part because Rudy said he could do it. And Trump saw Rudy, the guy who took down the mob. He saw Rudy, the guy who cleaned up New York. He didn't realize Rudy hadn't practiced inside a courtroom in 30 years. And I didn't know until some books got published, a bunch of stuff that I came up with, Rudy had been taking credit for. And he'd been telling Trump, oh, I came up with this. It was one of our things, which I like. Again, I like Rudy. It just, he wasn't well suited to it. But imagine you're Rudy. You think this is your last hurrah financially. You got, because he's had too many wives, he's got some high expenses. He was like, I gotta have the money, and he wanted to hire his own people. And I'm like, all right, I get Rudy. You know, you need the cash. I'm out of here. I'm not going to be stuck with this ride. But Eastman was the wrong guy to indict. Jeffrey Clark. I mean, that's a guy that Trump, frankly, should have reached out to. He was the guy inside the Justice Department trying to get some honesty in the elections. They also indicted him because they're idiots. Jeffrey Clark, very smart guy. We had him on sidebar. DC's trying to disbar him. The corporate law firms have blacklisted him. But he's a very smart guy. You're talking about a guy that's been around the system, you know, kind of academic nerd smart with some political skills. He's a guy that should be part of the advisory team for Trump. That now they've added him as an indictment. So they've effectively given Trump the benefit of John Eastman and Jeff Clark by adding them as indictees. That's how stupid that indictment is.
Unbelievably out of touch. And it does. I mean, it's a RICO case, and you're adding people that actively hate the man already. It's really strange. It's really strange.
And you're adding the best lawyers that he should have kept around, that he hasn't kept around, that now have to, in order to defend themselves, provide the best legal analysis that's out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that Georgia case with even a semblance of impartial jurors would be a straight acquittals across the board.
Well, let's look forward to the future. Let's hypothetically, and I hope this isn't hypothetically, hopefully this is factually, but moving forward, Trump wins 2024. What happens to the people that have falsely brought all this nonsense to him in terms of, can they be held liable? Can they be arrested? Can they be indicted? Like, what happens?
Well, under the theories of the indictment, that if any action taken by any individual, even if in the course of their official duties, leads to depriving people of the opportunity to participate in a free and fair election, equals conspiracy to deprive their civil rights. Well, by that logic, Joe Biden, Attorney General Merrick Garland, Assistant Attorney General Lisa Monaco, Special Counsel Jack Smith, the prosecutors involved in New York and in Georgia, and the judges that have allowed the cases to progress and proceed to this degree are all potentially criminally prosecutable under the very theory they're allowing to go forward in this case.
That's what I like to hear.
They could all be locked up. And that doesn't even include what happened in 2020, what happened in 2016, the cover-ups that are currently going on right now concerning the Biden family. I mean, the scope and scale of this is extraordinary. And that's why their theories are insane. They're just assuming nobody can do to them what now they're doing to other people.
Well, they're acting. We've noticed how the Democrats often act untouchable because they don't have to have consequences to their elections, because clearly they don't, because they're going to do everything they can to make sure that it's not a free and fair election. So they operate without consequences in mind, because it's like anything else. It's like it's as simple as having a regular day job, all the way up to the top of the food chain, whatever. If you don't have consequences for your actions, you're going to go to work. You're not going to dress correctly. You're not going to, say hello to the customers if you have bad leadership. But if you have strong leadership and there's consequences for your action, you can do a better job. Democrats don't even act like they have to worry about what people think of them. That tells you everything you need to know. And a lot of Republicans, by the way, are the same way. Hi, Mitch McConnell, and a lot of the rhinos out there. But but that's how I feel they're acting now. They don't feel like there's going to be consequences for their actions, because in their own deranged minds, they just think that the American people are dumb enough to fall for this nonsense. And I feel like it's going to be a massive, massive come to Jesus moment when it all kind of falls apart for them. And it almost playing out like a movie in a lot of ways. It really is. It really is, like watching this play out. I have another question for you, and I don't keep you too long. I'm asking a couple more questions. We got some super chats that I want to add that had some questions for you. What is how, and this is something I don't understand at all. So I'm asking completely as an idiot. So dumb this one down for me. How does the Supreme Court get involved with all of this? Can they get involved? How does it get to that point? And do you think it will? How does that happen?
I mean, I hope Trump's team strategy is to get it up to the Supreme Court as early as possible. So the Supreme Court only has appellate jurisdiction, so they can't step in right now. They need an excuse to step in.
Okay.
But and the legal excuse is a petition for cert or writ brought to them. That can be brought anytime there's been an error made in the lower courts. So a motion to stay that's denied, a motion to dismiss that's denied, a motion to disqualify that's denied, a First Amendment gag order issue that's denied. Any of those consequences give right to bring in what's called an interlocutory appeal. You get to ask the Court of Appeals, hey, this is so egregious, you need to correct this now. Or sometimes it's framed as a writ of mandamus or writ of prohibition, which is a writ to force a court to do something or stop it from doing something, a lower court. And that, if the Court of Appeals doesn't take action or doesn't help or doesn't remedy, that you can take up to the Supreme Court. And that would, like, one of the things I've been recommending to them is in all of these cases, bring a motion to stay on the grounds that, look, the First Amendment is meant to provide for free and fair elections, along with the 4th, 5th, 6th, 14th Amendment, how that's effectively enforced. When you get into attorney-client privilege issues, privacy issues, choice issues, due process of law issues, equal protection issues, all of which are meant to protect freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition your government, which is what they're trying to criminalize here. They're trying to say Trump appealing to the vice president, Trump appealing to Congress, Trump appealing to a secretary of state, Trump appealing to a state legislature, Trump appealing to a governor is now criminal. That's called petitioning the government, and it's your right under the First Amendment and was considered sacred at the time of our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence. So one of the main grievances in the Declaration of Independence was the wrongful denial of those rights to petition the government, then the king and the parliament. So I would say, look, if we're going to have a free and fair election, we can't hold these trials in the middle of an election. They deliberately chose to delay these indictments, even though almost all of them could have been brought 3 years ago, until the eve of an election.
Yep.
So we need to stay these proceedings, let the American people have a say, don't interfere with the election. And if these cases are so compelling, or if the American people vote in a particular way, then we can resume these criminal cases after the election. And the advantage of bringing that motion to stay in every single case is it's going to be denied by these corrupt lower courts for the most part, maybe not in Florida, but the other three, and take it right up to the U.S. Supreme Court, because that's something the Supreme Court could step in and say, we're going to stop all this nonsense right now until Election Day. And I think the reason why, like a lot of my friends in the political sector have lost faith in the courts, understandably so. I deal with that problem every day in half or quarter century. However, what's unique about these cases is the federal judiciary and the state judiciary and the integrity and appearance of impartiality of the judicial branch itself. America's confidence in it is being jeopardized and endangered. And that's what makes it unique. I've said that we're going to have two major trials here. One is the trial that's going to happen on Election Day of the American people responding to this nonsense.
Yep.
But the other is going to be the judicial branch. They're either going to save and salvage the judicial branch as the independent, impartial, integrity branch enforcing constitutional right and remedy and affirming and upholding the Constitution at key moments of crisis, or they're going to fail. And if they fail, they will never recover their credibility or the public confidence again. And there'll be massive efforts in legislatures and amongst the public to strip them of power, to strip them of authority, because they will have lost their moral authority, which is where all of their legal power really comes from.
Hell yes. Well said, sir. Yeah, I mean, this is a crazy scenario that is going to change everything moving forward, one way or the other. This is a moment in history. The next year and a half is going to be something that will be discussed for the rest of time. Do you think that there's going? So I'm looking for my Rekieta Rittenhouse moment. So do you think there's going to be cameras in the courtrooms? Because I would love to live react. So do you think there's going to be any cameras in the courtrooms in any of these scenarios? I think that they have to know that will be a bad idea for them optically. But what do you think?
In the two federal cases, it's not possible because cameras are banned in federal courtrooms.
Okay.
However, in the New York State case and the big one, the Georgia State case, they do often allow cameras in the courtroom.
Okay.
And in Georgia, I think they are so pleased with themselves that they can't wait to do it.
You're probably right about that, because these guys think so highly of themselves that they want, because we all remember, I mean, the OJ case. I mean, the attorneys on both sides became rock stars, regardless of the verdicts. Attorneys became rock stars, book deals, all of this other stuff. So that's a great point about Atlanta. Go ahead, though, or Georgia. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so Georgia would be the most interesting one because it's where you have all the defendants. It's where they have put, like, the DC case partially put the election at issue, but Georgia puts it all at issue. It says there was nothing wrong with any aspect of the election anywhere in the country. It puts Pennsylvania somehow at issue. It puts Arizona. They include him challenging that as somehow a crime in Georgia. It was part of their RICO conspiracy. But that means they have put two things at issue: what Trump believed and why he believed it, part of his good faith defense, as Alan Dershowitz noted. But also, they made the objective fact. They have to prove objectively it was false that the election had any constitutional irregularities that could lead to a legitimate election contest at issue. That means you get to present all evidence, whether you even had access to it at the time, of whether or not that statement is true. Was the election the best ever, or was it the most corrupt ever? And consequently, you would get a real election trial. The one thing they never allowed Trump or any of his supporters in 2020, the nature of the charges in Georgia legally, now maybe the court will try to block it, but legally allows them to give a full trial on what really happened in 2020.
Now, you said that in the two federal courts, cameras are not allowed. Why are cameras not allowed in federal courts?
U.S. Supreme Court has banned it. The theory has been that it will somehow, it's why it used to be limited in state court. The theory, mostly it's the courts, federal courts saying, oh, that is beneath us. The cameras, we're not one of those courthouses.
Right.
It's really arrogance and snobbery, in my opinion. But but it's because the U.S. Supreme Court has said no. The U.S. Supreme Court's excuses to say no is that they don't think the right of public access demands it. They think there's enough public reporting of it that you don't have to be able to have video cameras in there, and they think it will demean the trial proceedings to have cameras present.
Okay.
And so I have never agreed with that. The old days, people that don't know, we have a right to public trial in the United States. It's guaranteed under the U.S. and state constitutions. And because when we used to hold trials, the whole community get together. There was no courthouse. It was held outside in the equivalent of a public square. And the whole community was there. And that's how trials were done, was to make sure there was full community participation, full community awareness. We don't have secret trials. That was the Star Chamber. That was the scary, terrifying old Inquisition days that our whole country was built on resisting and changing and reforming. And so in my view, every trial should be video broadcast, because every American should have an opportunity to see what's going on. We should have it recorded in video form. I mean, think about if the media had controlled the Rittenhouse case, if we did not have live cameras in there, they would have been lying on a daily basis on what was taking place and transpiring. They might have been able to inspire a bogus riot against the verdict because of it. So, in my view, they should absolutely televise these proceedings, but I think the federal courts will stay higher. They're too important to be videotaped. But I think the Georgia court,
I love it. I think you're onto something.
She thinks everybody loves her. She's like, she's like the Lizzo of prosecutors.
God. Whoo! I hope you've given me hope that we're gonna get them there, because you're 100% right. They think so highly of themselves, and they do want to become celebrities. They want to become rock stars. Remember, what was it? Didn't they have like a fucking camera crew following them around, like as they were approaching with the charges? Like it was almost like a documentary, like the Goldberg or something entering the wrestling ring. So you're actually 100% spot on. They think so highly of themselves that it is a possibility. If it is, I'm I'm coming for Ricada's numbers on Rittenhouse. We'll see if of course Ricada and you guys will be doing it too. It's going to be reaction. It's going to be reaction videos and reaction streams everywhere. It's going to be glorious. We can finally end Hollywood for good if that happens, because everybody's going to be watching Rumble and YouTube and every other platform. So we gotta before we go, I've got a few super chats I'm gonna ask you some questions about really quick. But before we do that, we have a ton of people watching. Most of you probably know who Robert Barnes is. If you don't, this man is a wealth of knowledge. When he talks all the legal stuff, a lot of that, obviously, this man's much smarter than me. I can hang with him in sports, but man knows just as much about sports as he does law and everything else. Although he's a Tennessee fan, I'm a Bama fan. I'm still kind of pissed off at him for last year, but we're going to have a fun year this year. But tell them where they can find you, Robert, and let them know. And mods, feel free to drop links as Robert is telling everyone where they can find him.
Oh, yeah. So for all the law and politics content, have that at vivabarneslaw.locals.com. For all the sports, politics, prediction market stuff, that's at sportspicks.locals.com. So we'll have both should be thriving and a lot of fun this season. I mean, we don't lack topics to cover. That's for sure.
I heard that. Real quick, personal question for me. What did you think about Portnoy getting Barstool back for $1?
Well, I had a friend of mine, Kelly in Vegas, who worked at at Barstool for a while. Then they let her go, and I didn't understand why. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. But I had been critical of Barstool's deal with Penn because it was clear. Like Portnoy, I still feel Portnoy was lying. I know Penn was lying. The reality was Penn was. I knew something was up. I just didn't know what it was. Penn kept claiming that they had to censor everybody at Barstool because the gaming commissions were requiring them to do so. And I kept saying, hey, if there's any proof of that, I'll represent you on a contingency fee because we're going to win that suit because that's First Amendment violations. There was ultimately but Portnoy never took anybody up on that, never brought any suit on any of it. Now we know why. In reality, Penn used Barstool to build its original sports book basis in different states.
As a stepping stone to get to the ESPN deal.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the reason why they were doing the ESG and political nonsense is they were just trying to appease ESPN and get ESPN to take the bait. And I think maybe Portnoy knew all along, and because Portnoy's deal was he got all that money and then didn't have to give any of it back. So, I'll give Portnoy credit.
Yeah.
The man is a effective businessman. I don't think he was always being straight with everybody during all of this.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he's legit. Like, I thought when he got it back, I was like, okay, if he's legit, he should hire people like Kelly Stewart back and Kelly in Vegas.
He did bring Mincy. He brought Mincy back, who got he got fired for dropping the N word during a rap song.
Yeah, exactly. And I was glad to see that. So I'll be curious to see how they do because I was always I see Portnoy as a businessman. So I see him as like Elon Musk.
Yep.
So, there was a part of Portnoy that I thought maybe he sincerely believes the anti-woke stuff, or maybe he just thinks that's a perfect ticket to building a huge audience that's going to get Penn to write him a huge check that he knows ultimately Penn is going to give it back to him for dime pennies on the dollar because their real goal is to use Barstool to get to ESPN.
Yep.
And I think that's what it was always all about. So I'm going to be curious. Now that it's his own gig, he's not going to be selling it. He's already got all the cash. Is he going to stay anti-woke? Is he going to, or was that always kind of a scam to get customers and clients rather than, like, the other weird thing with them is I always found it weird they were so in bed with a sports book to begin with, because I was like, well, you can't hire smart sports betting analysts because that will lose money over time for these sports books.
Yep.
And instead, you watch a lot of their shows. Portnoy himself has got to be one of the dumbest sports bettors on the planet. I mean, he's about as good at picking games as he is at picking checks.
He's not good. He's not like I'm not a fan. Like I'm a fan of the Barstool Sports from what they've built, and I want to make Geeks and Gamers the Barstool Sports of the nerd world. That's my goal. That's always been my goal. Dave Portnoy, and I respect the hell out of him as a businessman. Dave Portnoy don't know shit about shit.
No,
he don't know anything about. He makes surface level knowledge look like deep knowledge because he knows nothing about the things he talks about. In his interview with Ben Shapiro, Shout out to Little Ben. But but like he knew nothing. The stuff he talked about with Trump, he's like, Trump broke people's brains, but he also said there were good people on both sides. And it's like, you know nothing about Trump. And when he talks about TV shows, when he talks about sports, like the man he's very, very like, he basically reads a headline and he runs with it. That's what he does. You know what I mean? He don't know anything about anything.
Exactly. I mean, he's a brilliant marketer.
Yes.
And that's kind of about it. It's kind of how I see the Tate brothers. You know, it's like I met them before they went huge in DC years ago and hanging out at the Trump Hotel with Cernovich and Paul Watson and a bunch of them. And I thought they're, smart from a Ben Shapiro internal intelligence kind of. They do just fine on an IQ test. But otherwise, I came away, they're really good marketers. I don't know if I would want anybody I know, on a certain, let's just say I don't approve of certain lifestyle.
Yeah. I like Andrew Tate, but I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm not a worshiper of Andrew Tate. I find him very entertaining. I've said I think Andrew Tate's a professional wrestler. I think
he is.
He's a professional wrestler.
And he's one of the best. I mean, marketing wise, he's one
phenomenal.
of the best BSers ever. But Portnoy always Tate and Portnoy struck me as two peas in a pod in that regard.
Yes.
Now I think Tate's smarter than Portnoy, but otherwise they're very similar. What their real gift is their ability. I mean, they create controversy out of nothing, and their ability to just market anything.
Yes.
But that I wouldn't necessarily trust. I wouldn't trust Tate's life advice, for example, and I wouldn't trust Portnoy's sports betting advice.
Yeah, man, some of his takes are absolutely insane. But I do have sports questions for you, but I'll save that for another time because I created a whole sports channel because every time I talk about sports on my channels, the chat lets me have it. So, but we got this question from David Phillips. This is a $50 super chat. It says, "Hey Robert, what type of cigar you got? Also, what book is most prominent? And finally, what scotch are you drinking?" There you go.
So the cigar is a Tatuaje cigar. I like all those Tatuaje brands. Very affordable. You can get a lot of them, $8, $10, $12. Not too pricey. The book that we're doing at Viva Barnes Law this month is Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Still the most popular book other than the Bible sold on a per capita basis in the history of the United States of America. And very, as we get into these constitutional debates, I always recommend people read the Constitution, read the Declaration of Independence, and read Thomas Paine's Common Sense, and then you'll understand what it's all about. In case that some people have forgot. And the
Scotch.
No scotch. I'm drinking some Zevia in my InfoWars glass.
There we go. And there, for those that don't know, I mean, Robert introduced me to Alex Jones. So that's how I got to know Alex Jones. That's the reason that we had Alex Jones on Friday Night Tights, all because of Robert. We haven't had you on Friday Night Tights yet, have we?
I was just when you guys were out in Vegas.
Okay, we got to change that. We got to get you and Viva on.
Yeah, Viva would be fun to be on there. You can see Viva's,
would love to get
Viva's shock reaction at various Ryan or Az comments.
That would be great.
You can come up with words like there's all these sexual terms. He's like, what? What's that? He's like, oh my god. So it's always he'd be perfect on there as a perfect foil.
Yes, I will make this happen. I don't know what X-Ray Girl has lined up for the guest list, but I'll have her reach out, and we got to make that happen sooner than later. I mean, everybody's yelling at me because I haven't been on Friday Night Tights in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, guys, I've been extremely busy. We had Melanie McIntown here at Geeks and Gamers HQ. We got a lot of great content. I'd love to get you down here at some point. I got an open spot, man. I can hook you up. We take Robert Barnes to Universal Studios to ride a roller coaster. Come on, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Well,
we got to make that happen.
Not far from you down there. I mean,
he's not. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I mean, so I'll send it to you when the show is over. But and I'm going to be releasing this publicly very soon. But young Ripa had a drone go around his warehouse, and it was really cool, a great video. And so we have a Rolo, part of our team. He's a certified license for drones. He brought his drone over here, and I had him fly it through the whole headquarters here, and it's a really cool video. We're going to be releasing that one publicly soon, but I'll send it to you, Robert.
That'd be cool.
It's really cool shot. We've got a full studio. Basically, this is Tim Pool light, what I have going on here. Obviously I'm not Tim Pool level yet, but this is Tim Pool light. Although we are We are consistently beating Tim in super chats. So there you go, Tim.
Sweet.
But yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting there, but not quite there yet. But yeah, I'll talk to you about that. We had let's see, Gabriel Knight for $9.99 says, Barnes, if Trump is convicted, how will that affect his standing with indie and moderate voters? Also, what's Trump's early mail-in vote strategy? And what does Romney McDaniel, why does Romney McDaniel keep ignoring Scott Pressler?
So, I mean, I think there won't be any impact of any even convictions, in my opinion, on any of these cases. It will only motivate his base even more.
Yes.
Number one.
Yes.
And the key to understanding is who the independents are swinging to Trump. There are people that aren't going to care about this stuff, or to the degree they do, Trump is now relatable. That, I say, like in 2016, if you're a minority millennial, even working class, your impression of Trump was this distant, rich New York real estate. He was the caricature that, Snoop Dogg or Eminem could kind of satirize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now Trump is like them. It was like the way Dave Chappelle described him. I mean, he's the guy against the man now. The man's trying to crush him. They took a New York real estate billionaire who's 75 years old, and they made him relatable to working class minority millennials. Because all of them know somebody that's been a victim at one time or another of the system. And now Trump is the man that the system's trying to take down. Trump is the man the system is trying to take out. And I think that's part one. And then so it actually makes him more relatable, not less, ironically. And then the second, I mean, he is living. He always had some appeal in the rap community, but now it's going to be off the charts because he's the real deal now.
Mm-hmm.
He's got street cred, as they say. And then the second part of it is the main independents that are swinging to him are working class voters that really don't care about anything but the economy. Like, the economy sucks, and we got stupid war overseas. I want no more of it. And it's only going to get worse for them. And they're like, done, finito, El Succo, bring back Trump. I don't care. I don't care if he's the meanest person on the planet. I don't want the economy to suck. I want to be able to pay my rent. I want to be able to pay for my food, be able to pay for my car, and not be worried about war on TV and the radio, which is what the world is like under Joe Biden. So I think that's where I think things will go. Mail-in ballot strategy, a bunch of people are involved. I hope they come up with a good plan. Richard Barris and I are looking at stepping in the breach if they don't, because that needs to be taken care of. And Scott Pressler, Ronna McDaniel is simply a grifter who sits at the top and grifts money for all of her state party chairs. She ran an incompetent 2020 campaign, got away with it because DeSantis was behind Harmeet Dillon's challenge. And that's why Trump ended up saying nothing but letting her get the nomination, because he found out Dillon was secretly in DeSantis's camp, which DeSantis was dumb enough to let out 24 hours before because he thought he had all this magic mojo juice and thought, if I endorse her now, she'll win. Went just the other way. But the party hierarchy is a waste of a party at every level. The political class are incompetent. The consultants are incompetent. 95% of the pollsters and the media advertisers and the marketers are incompetent. And, like Argentina, that guy, that populist libertarian that just got number one in the first round of presidential voting, he spent $0 on TV advertising in Argentina, even though he was unknown. Why? Because he went directly to the people. El Salvador, how did he get elected? Directly to the people. He was firing people like Trump on Twitter. I mean, when he met Trump, he's like, Trump's cool, I'm cool, we're all cool. Trump got a kick out of it, right?
That's
and this guy came from left populist traditions, but he just cared about getting stuff done. He didn't care what the ideology was. I think the reason why that's true is because of the corruption of the political class. So she's not paying attention to anything. She's just looking at, how do we raise more money to pay my friends and allies? And sadly, that's who they are.
Yep. Well said, sir. Fedigator says, Robert, why doesn't Trump, Gates, MTG, etc. call on McCarthy to formally defund the DOJ to stop all of this? Makes no sense as Trump put him in power.
Yeah, I mean, I hope Trump will escalate. It's good to see Matt Gaetz escalate. It's good to see the Georgia legislature escalate. All of them need to get much more involved. They cannot stay asleep at the wheel. But McCarthy's an institutional guy. And the problem that Trump has, the problem that the populists have, is that 2/3 of the Republicans in the House are also institutionalists. Only 1/3 of them are populist. If you want to know who's a populist and who's not, look at who voted to send more money to Ukraine and who didn't. That will tell you. It's like the Republican Party isn't begging to send another $20 billion to Ukraine. And yet a majority of Republicans in the House are voting to send $20 billion to Ukraine. Well, they stiffed Maui after they burned down a whole town. So, we still have a problem in that the professional political class also controls most of our legislatures and the legislative branch. And we got to reduce their influence, and we got to get more populist in there, more JD Vances in there, more people, more Matt Gaetzes in there, and then we can make change. The irony is, as you pointed out, there's a lot better chance of that happening in 2024 than there was in 2020.
Absolutely. And I think the momentum is there, and it's just necessary. It's necessary momentum to get done, in my opinion, to get done what absolutely needs to happen would not be possible without going through what we're going through right now. Trump would have they still would have had his all-out assault on Trump if he would have won in 2020. They would have done everything in their power to make his life hell, even though he was going to try to do the same. But now, with where we are and what we've seen, and we've seen the levels that they were willing to go, I think now, if and when, and I don't even like to say if, I'll just say when Trump gets back in office in 2024, I feel like he's going to have the full support that he needs to eradicate all of this. And it's just necessary to go through what we're going through. And that's just how life as always goes.
There's really three historical analogies. The American Revolution only happened because the Brits exposed how horrible they were to people like Ben Franklin.
Yep.
Andrew Jackson was only able to bring about the populist rebellion that ended the first bank because he got it stolen from him in 1824, and he had a real populist mandate by the time he came in 1828. And Ronald Reagan, if Ronald Reagan had won in 1976, won the Republican nomination, maybe won the presidency, the country would have still been split in ways that have been very difficult to manage. Because they got 4 years of Carter and they're like, oh, we don't want that anymore. He had a real mandate in 1980.
The thing that we normally want is not the thing we need at that time. And that's just how it always goes. I won't take this too far down a sports rabbit hole, but I do remember a certain time when there was a certain guy out of Jacksonville, Florida, who I wanted the Alabama Crimson Tide to recruit. His name was Tim Tebow. He ended up going to Florida, and I was pissed. Well, guess what? If we got Tebow, we wouldn't have got Saban.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the situation. So I had to go through the hard times, and we went through some real hard times with Mike Shula and Dubose and Francione and all of that. But so again, the thing that you often want is not the thing you often need right now. So right now we're getting what is necessary in order to get us where we need to go. That is the way I will have to continue to look at all of this. So let's see. Divergent Zen says, Jeremy, please ask Barnes about Jeff Landry running for governor in LA. He played a role in the LA and Missouri versus Biden in regard
I think he means Louisiana.
Louisiana. Oh, Louisiana. Okay. Yeah, LA. I thought, yes. Louisiana and Missouri. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think that'd be an improvement over the current governor of Louisiana. Now, I always liked Edwin Edwards, if nothing more for the entertainment value. I knew some people who knew Edwin. Yeah, he was the guy who ran on the campaign, vote for the crook. It's important. There's something to be said for honest criminals. It's what the Democratic Party could use a little more of. It's like, if you're going to be a criminal, at least be an honest one, like Edwin Edwards. Like, he once made the joke. Someone said, hey, they saw you sleep with 5 women in one night. He said, that guy's a total liar. He left before the 6th one came in. I can respect an honest crook.
Oh, that's good. That's fantastic, actually. Let's see, from Rumble, Occupant 42. Robert, do you think Georgia is stupid enough to remand Trump, or will they just put restrictions on him that hinder his campaigning?
I don't think they'll put any restrictions on him. They're anxious to mugshot him and perp walk him. But I think that even the crazy DC judge didn't want to put many restraints on him, because they all know that's the quickest, easiest way to get the case up to the Supreme Court, to review that and reverse that, and then maybe say some other things that totally derail their prosecutions. So far, even the New York political judge, even the DC political judge didn't do it. And the Georgia judge is actually a Republican, a young Republican. That's how Fulton County works. The judges are appointed by the governor. Now, we'll see if he's nuts. You never know. And the prosecutor might say something nuts. But I think they all their focus is on getting to trial, not using the criminal process itself to prohibit him from campaigning, because they recognize that probably is the easiest way to get overturned quick.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Robert, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's we haven't talked in a while. I mean, we talked in text here and there, but I do want to catch up with you. So I don't know if you're around this weekend. I was wanting to give you a call and catch up on some things. Are you
Sure.
busy this weekend?
Sounds good.
Okay, yeah, because I got some stuff to update you on. And again, there's some, not without going into specifics, there's something we talked about in Vegas that you helped out. I don't know if you've gotten the information on it, but everything got approved. So greatly
Sweet.
appreciate that. You are the man. Robert is the man. You guys have no idea. This dude, he's got a lot of connections. If you need something, Robert can typically make it happen. This dude is awesome. So again, let them know where they can find you one more time, Robert, and I will talk to you soon. But thanks for being here, man. So tell them one more time where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. For any law and politics, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. For any sports, prediction markets involving economics, politics, culture. We even had a bet on the box office. Sadly, Klaus Barbie did well. That's regrettable. But mostly made a lot of money, a lot of profit over the last several years. That's at sportspicks.locals.com.
Heck yeah, man. Have you seen Oppenheimer?
Not yet. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
You got to see it, man.
I heard it was.
You need to see it before it leaves. Yeah, you need to see it before it leaves IMAX, because I'd have to imagine it's very close to leaving IMAX theaters. They actually extended it because of how well it's done, but it is a hell of a movie. But it's 99% of it is on Cillian Murphy. Like 99% of the shots, he's in the frames. It's dialogue driven, but if you like Nolan, I think you'll love it. But it's really good.
And I'm a Peaky Blinders fan because of him.
I need to watch Peaky Blinders. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard
last
good things.
Season sucks. The next last, but watch the first 2 seasons. They're awesome.
Okay, will do, man. Well, hey, Robert, it's great to have you, man. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you this weekend, man.
Sounds good, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. Robert Barnes, everybody. So good to have Robert here. Great to get his knowledge and his insight on everything going on. He is a wealth of knowledge, and man, just a good friend too. He's a really good friend. Always appreciate him. I told you, and if you guys like this kind of method, we could do more of this. Maybe I spend the first hour where we kind of talk about things. It's a normal kind of CobraCast, and then we get a really good guest in here, and we have some good conversations, and we kind of change the pace up just a little bit, because the key to any show is it has to continue to slowly evolve while staying grounded in what it always was. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but we do want to change it up. And I know we're trying to work towards getting 5 days a week on CobraCast, and that's because all of you are just so damn supportive, and it looks like the chat's very happy. So that's good. Great to see. And we'll probably clip some of that out and maybe re-upload those, but it was really good to have Robert on. And I know we have a ton of super chats and a ton of stuff. Poor Hailstorm's back there. I was supposed to do a beer to shame poll. I didn't do that. Are you mad at me, Hailstorm? He probably is pissed at me. Are you pissed at me? Let me know, Hailstorm.
No, I'm actually preparing the most epic beard ever.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. He doesn't hate me too bad. So, Meme TV says, fantastic CobraCast. Congrats on raising the bar. Hey, it was good, man. Robert really is. I mean, it's not just law stuff, man. Robert is a wealth of knowledge in all type of stuff. When he wanted to do sports stuff with us, like on Sports Wars and everything, I had no idea. Robert knows a shit ton about sports too. It's crazy. Knows his entertainment. And yeah, if he's serious about it, like I'd love to get him and Viva down here, down to Orlando, down to G&G HQ, create some content with them, have some fun. And again, the way that all of these things are able to happen is because of all of you. All the support you give me and give Geeks and Gamers, it allows me the budget to continue to make things happen. I mean, it's obviously not cheap to get high profile people down here, pay for everything that needs to happen, but when it's something that you guys allow me to do, I try to do as much of it. So thank you guys for the feedback in the chat. So one thing we have not done tonight, we have not shown that sexy back end, ladies and gentlemen. We have not shown the sexy back end. Now, if you're new to the channel, I try to be as transparent as I possibly can because we have an amazing audience here in the Snake Pit. And so when we hit 1,000 likes, I try to show off the sexy back end. Now, we have one of the sexiest back ends in all of YouTube, and it's looking damn fine tonight. it's looking damn fine tonight. If I could say so myself, it's looking pretty damn good. In fact, we're less than $100 away from breaking a threshold. I don't know exactly how many we are. I know we're less than 100. I don't know exactly what, but we're closing on a threshold. So as you know, in that first hour, maybe a record hour for CobraCast. I don't think I've ever seen support like I saw in that first hour, because most of this happened in the first hour, what I'm about to show you. So it's time for all of you wonderful people to see that sexy back end. Look at that. Holy crap. $1,900 in super chat revenue. 541 new members. Good Lord. What is happening? That is probably a record for CobraCast. That is. Wait. Did Nips Litter call Alec Baldwin's finger Alec Baldwin? You can't call David Phillips just put us over $2,000. Holy crap. Holy crap. AR Master just dropped 10 more gifted memberships. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. I don't know. It's hard to process. Somebody said something here. Where did it go? Why are you showing what you make? That's weird and none of our business. Because I fucking want to. What the fuck are you going to do about it? That's my question. What are you going to do about it? If you have an answer, I'd like for you to respond. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Ultimately, I show this because I try to be as transparent as humanly possible. I love my audience. I appreciate my audience and I respect my audience. And I don't think that my audience should be treated like idiots. I think they should be treated like equals, and they should know, hey, we're supporting this guy. How much are we supporting, and what's going into that? That's why I try to talk about, like, hey, we bring, like we just had Melanie Mack in town. Melanie Mack's a huge personality. She's got a ton of followers across. She's probably got over 1 million followers across social media. She's a rock star. She's great, and she was fantastic here. And it was awesome having her out here, and it's only possible because of stuff like that. So that's why I do it. So there you go. Let's see here. Did you just, are you challenging me to a fight on the internet? Holy shit. Are you challenging me to a fight on the internet? Pull up, bro. Let's go. Pull up. I mean, I'll announce when I'm next time at Universal Studios. I mean, come out there. We can have a conversation. I love shaking somebody's hand that wants to talk to me in person and look them right in the eye and ask them straight up, what you going to do about it, brother? So yeah, I'll let you know. Good Lord. Oh God. Pull up. We need a pull up emoji. Now, if it was a Mario Kart challenge, I would respect that. I'd respect that. Beat down in Toontown V2. Challenge you to a fight, dude. I'm an old man. I was just saying, do whatever. It's very heavily implied. Okay, you don't say, "I'm in Orlando. What's up?" You don't say that. Oh man. Now you're how if you're an old man, why are you saying I'm in Orlando? Let's do whatever. Like that doesn't. None of this is making sense. You've lost my interest now. You've lost my interest now. Park a lot at Culver's. Be there. That's right. Pull up Culver's. Let's go. All right. Too much time wasted on that. So, Taker says Jeremy X is getting rid of block outside of DM. Let's talk about that really quick. And you know what you guys have confirmed tomorrow? There will be another CobraCast. Yes, there will be a Saturday CobraCast. It will happen. I'm going to try to do it before Drunk 3PO stream. I don't want to stream over my brother Drunk 3PO, but there will be a Saturday CobraCast because I'm not going to get through all of these super chats. It's just not going to happen. There's no way. So Saturday CobraCast is happening. I'll let you guys know what time. But yeah, there you go. It will happen. You guys have overwhelmed me tonight, and there's no way I can get through all these super chats. Just ain't happening. Matter of fact, there's going to be 2 streams tomorrow. There's going to be CobraCast with a square up, and there's going to be a gaming stream. So we're playing Fortnite tomorrow, and we're playing, and we're doing a CobraCast. So you got 2 streams tomorrow. 2. So there you go. Because yeah, it's impossible. There's 163 super chats tonight, individual super chats, and I have not read many of them. There's no way I can get through it. Plus, Rumble has been bumping tonight. Eric K, how much have we made on Rumble tonight? Eric K, how much have we made, buddy?
I counted early on. It was $80, but that was a long time ago. So
I'd say we're probably about to 100 now. So Rumble's been bumping tonight.
Yeah, we're well over 100.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the Rumble audience. Appreciate you guys. So thank you, Eric. Appreciate you.
Rumble's been active tonight. It's
yeah,
been
it
killing
has.
it.
Yeah, it has. All right. Thank you, Eric. So yes, back to Twitter. So I don't block people on Twitter. I let me see. Let me just confirm this. Okay. I don't know how to look this shit up anymore. How do I look up, like, how do you find teams has moved? We lose team. I don't know how to see how many people I've blocked. Blocked accounts. Where's that at? I'm not sure how to find it. Let's see. All right, let's share my screen. Okay. So let's see if I have I want to share the right thing. All right. There we go. Okay. My account, monetization, premium, subscription, privacy, probably privacy and safety or security. Security. Manage your accounts, security, 2FA, privacy, safety, direct mute and block. Manage the accounts, words, notifications that you've muted, blocked. Blocked accounts. All right, so I have no blocked accounts. I have no one blocked. So I don't block people on Twitter. Okay, so there we go. I have nobody blocked on Twitter. I don't block people on Twitter. I would rather you interact with me, especially now because I just got my first monetization check from Twitter today. And so I would much rather the people that hate me interact with me. And these idiots just continue to make me money, and I'm okay with that. It's not a massive amount of money, but it's decent. It's okay. Anyway, the point being that Elon Musk has made some waves today where he said that he wanted to remove the block button, which is a weird kind of thing that's been going around. So right here, Elon Musk says X will remove the ability to block accounts. I retweeted and I said, I don't block people on Twitter, but taking away the ability to block is next level stupid. Maybe there's some details I'm missing, some nuance I'm missing. I don't know, but it's really just to me, like, to take the ability to block people away. I don't like that idea. Now, with that said, more leftists than anyone are the ones that do the blockchains, and I've been part of that, where essentially leftists will interact with you, and then when you quote tweet them, they will then block all of your followers except for you. And the reason they do that is so when you respond to them, your followers can't respond to them, but their followers can respond to you. And the whole thing is so they can basically just dogpile on you. You know what I mean? And so so that's my stance on the whole thing. So I guess that they're talking about adding something more to the mute button, but I don't really understand it. I don't like the removal of the block button based on the surface level information that's out there right now. Now, Elon Musk apparently got community noted. Apparently, Elon Musk apparently got community noted. Let's see. All right, right here. So let me share this. Community Notes has responded to Elon Musk saying that blocking will be removed from X Twitter platform. Elon Musk cannot do this. The feature to block someone on the site is required as a social media app to be allowed on the App Store and Google Play. So right there, Community Notes has checked the boss himself. So there you go. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I have no idea what the answer is there. But I don't love the idea of getting rid of the block button, even though I personally do not utilize it. With that said, it would be very funny to watch leftists lose their minds if the block button was removed and they had to deal with people in their replies that they didn't want in their replies. That would be funny. That would be funny as hell. Thank you, Alec Baldwin's finger, for the Krista emojis. MCU fan clearly having fun with that one. Okay. Unlike Hollywood, Jeremy respects his audience. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I really do. I appreciate it. I love you guys so much. It's amazing how much support we've gotten. And David Hill says, "Hail Robert Barnes, master's level education in the political history and theory. Bravo, Jeremy." It was awesome having Robert on. David, oh yeah, I got that one. Cole Hauser says, "Thanks, Jeremy and Jay, for standing strong. Proudly posted my Trump hat on X. Keep up the fight. 199 Yo Joe." Thank you, Cole Hauser. Appreciate you. I know Magnum Norris had a 50 earlier too. I missed it. Alex Jones, this is Hayden Wayne says, Alex Jones brought up today that he has sources saying that we are about to go into lockdown 2.0 mid-September. TSA goes back to masking. October, it's all airports. December, it's everything. Articles last 24 hours calling for masks. I mean, they've been trying to lay the groundwork for COVID and all of that again. They've been trying to lay the groundwork for that. And so I think they're going to get rejected widely for it. Dom H says, "Hey, I'm the guy who said hi to you guys at Universal with my brother. Wanted to say more and say hi to the rest of the crew, but I was nervous. Wanted to tell Jay I bought his book and read it. He did a good job." Dom, I will pass those words along. It was a pleasure, meeting both of you. It was awesome. And it's always great, man. I love meeting people when we go out and about. It's great. So if you see, me and you want to have a conversation, feel free to walk up to me, shake my hand, introduce yourself. Don't be nervous. It's nothing but love. Nothing but love. Magnum Norris says McCarthy was right. Magnum Norris also said, "We never left the Cold War. Look at the communists now. They took the reins, but we need to get it back." Thank you, Magnum Norris. Keenan, it was awesome meeting you in Vegas, buddy. It was awesome meeting you in Vegas, Keenan. I see you, buddy. I see you. Let me see. All right, some of these I'm gonna have to. I'll have to wait when I get Jay. I'll make sure Jay is. Did you see my other super chat? DM, there's a lot that I have not gotten to. I apologize. There's a lot that I'm gonna have to get to tomorrow for sure. Let's see. Okay, no problem, Jed. Jed, are you still here?
I'm here, yeah.
Tell them where they can find you and get the hell out of here.
Well, you can all find me on YouTube at Hollywood Scholar. Recently put out a lore video about Eowyn from Lord of the Rings with the full voice cast of Beardo, Jay, Drunk 3PO, and Kristanova. So go check that out if you're interested in Eowyn.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's awesome. All right, Jed, thanks so much for keeping up with everything. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course. Good night, you guys.
Have a good night. Later, buddy. Oh, there we go. All right. So, let me see. And I think we're getting close to Beard of Shame and another long episode of Cobra Cast 199. Let's see. We've got almost, can we push to 2,000 likes? I mean, we're at 1688 right now. Can we push 2,000 likes? I'm not sure. And again, thank you to Rumble. Still got over 300 people over on Rumble. So, record night, not a record night for us. Maybe on Rumble a record night. Not on YouTube, but definitely a good night. A record night on gifted memberships. That's for damn sure. Let's see. Scanning in late. Please don't take my 199 card. Hail D Day Cobra. Thank you, Jesse 007. Thank you for scanning in. You can only comment if you scan in. It's just a rule. It's the meme rule. Okay. Holly Carp, you made a comment earlier where you said that you thought Trump said he was coming back to Twitter. That I never saw that, and I am confident that Trump didn't say that. But I saw you said that earlier when Robert Barnes was talking. So I was still looking at the chat. I was still looking at the chat. I was still seeing how you doing. So I was keeping my eye open. Jay's Choked Bacon says, "Hail chat and thanks Jeremy for the entertainment." Thank you. Let's see. DM says the real leader takes no salary, does this for free. Why anyone gets caught up in his personality is stupid. Hail Salty. Play the trans vid. What vid are we talking about? And thank you, DM. I appreciate that. I don't know what vid you're talking about. And shout out to Salty Cracker. You guys want to see Salty Cracker on CobraCast sometime? Would you guys like to see Salty Cracker on CobraCast sometime? I'm sure the chat will respond accordingly about that one. The chat going crazy for that one. Me and Salty talked about it. He's like, yeah, I got to come on. So, you still hadn't got one. Still not a member. 541 members tonight. I think it was 541. 552. 552. No membership though. Sorry. Maybe next time, bud. You're either ignorant or angry at this point. Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Yeah, CB, I really didn't have to ask that question. I just wanted to see the chat go crazy. Vic Whiplash. I'm just north of Detroit. The wagons are filled out ballots. The wagons of filled out ballots then covered the windows. Yeah, I remember that. Actually, Vic. 100% remember that. Thank you, Vic. Vic's been mega supportive tonight. That was super, super cool. Jocelyn says scanning in for Scancast. What's up, Jocelyn? How are you? Appreciate you. Tom, is this the good Tom King? I love it when Trump disrupts the narrative. Hey, man, that's what's up. We all love it. It's great. Holy crap. This might be one of the longest beards of shame ever. All right, Hailstorm, is this thing ready? Hailstorm?
Yes. Yeah.
Holy crap. All right. It's one of the longest ones.
It's a musical.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let me Twitter video just freezing up as always. Why does Twitter video do this? I don't understand it. Twitter videos always giving me headaches. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, CobraCast 199 is proud to present to you tonight's Beard of Shame.
Hello, CobraCast and the 199. I'm Jack Murphy, and it is my honor to personally present tonight's Beard of Shame to none other than Joe Biden. Tonight, he will be singing along to a song that was prepared for this momentous occasion.
My name's Joe Biden, and I want tonight's Beard of Shame. I'm a corrupt piece of shit, and I'm playing a crooked game. I cheat, I lie, I steal, and I've got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. I'm abusing my authority to stop Trump's run. My name's Joe Biden, and I want tonight's Beard of Shame. I'm a corrupt piece of shit, and I'm playing a crooked game. I weaponize the government, I censor free speech. I'm trying to have my political rival arrested, and my son Hunter's a crackhead. My name's Joe Biden, and I want tonight's Beard of Shame. I'm a corrupt piece of shit, and I'm playing a crooked game. I cheat, I lie, I steal, and I want tonight's Beard of Shame.
What the hell, Hailstorm? What the fuck was that? That was so bad it was good. That was so bad it was good, and I loved it. Shout out to Hailstorm. Oh, man. What the hell was even that? That was, I saw someone say, that was something. That was good. Good job, Hailstorm. Alec Baldwin's finger, the big guy. Hayden75. Hayden Wayne still in the chat. That's what's up. Holy crap. Simplicity says best CobraCast to date. Really? Hey, that's a nice compliment. John Yarber dropped 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Sean, the Sean 2 says, can we get Jeremy Osteen for the 199? Jeremy Osteen is very, very happy with tonight's super chat. We had the wonderful Robert Barnes come in here and educate all of us on politics. But Jeremy Osteen knows money, and a lot of money has been raining down from the heavens above tonight, and the whole chat gets a big wamen from Jeremy Osteen. Jeremy Osteen, very, very happy. All right. So best Beard of Shame ever, says Alan Fox. Hailstorm, you're not right. LOL. He really isn't. He really isn't. Is our buddy here, our buddy that I was going off on with the I called out on the thing, and oh yeah, he's still here. Hey, look at there. Okay, see there, look at here. Where's he at? Where's he at? I just saw a comment from him. Damn it, where'd it go? He said, good night, good show, insults aside, or something like that. Here it is. All right, Joe says, and with that, I say good night, insults aside, good show. Hey, insults are what we do. It's meant to be a token of appreciation. All right. So don't take it to heart. We love you. If you're here for the right reasons, we love you. We can disagree. We can talk shit. We can have difference of opinion. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, are we all fighting the good fight and understanding that, this country needs a lot of help right now. And I think you get that. I think you get that. So shout out to you. Shout out to you. All right. So now people are going to remember you, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, Jove's good people. Him and Jeremy had a little back and forth, and now it's water under the bridge. That's all that matters. Thank you. Look at that ISOM right there. Shout out to Ripaverse. Shout out to ISOM number 2 and for all of the success. Retired Army heard worse. Hey, then you already know, brother. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. You're a hero. You are a hero. That is, I mean, I'm not being sarcastic, so it's greatly appreciated. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long stream. You guys have been incredible. I don't know what to say other than thank you from the bottom of my heart. Nothing makes me feel better than to see this chat going crazy. I love seeing the excitement. I feed off of that excitement. I will do a CobraCast tomorrow. We will do a square up. I apologize for those that I did not get to. No Fortnite tonight. No Fortnite tonight. I was thinking about it, but the stream's gone too long and I have got to get some sleep. And if I'm going to do 2 streams tomorrow, I got to get some sleep. So thank you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this. And thank you for the feedback, letting me know that you believe I'm doing a good job. As long as you think I'm doing a good job, that's all that matters. I do think that it was nice having Robert on. It was a nice change of pace. Obviously, it wasn't as much interaction, but the interaction with the chat has to be there. So whenever we have a guest on, I'm going to try to make sure that we do that in the second hour. First hour is regular kind of CobraCast, memeing, laughing, talking about some things, reacting to some things. And then we have a guest on and we have a more kind of controlled conversation. And then when that guest leaves, I'll still spend, another hour or so talking to all of you, getting back to what CobraCast is all about. So I think that's a good template right there. So I'll see you tomorrow for a square up and we will read all of these super chats. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Hailstorm. Shout out to Hollywood Scholar. Shout out to Eric K. Shout out to Cam Man. Shout out to all the mods and all of you. And thank you so much. Rumble, much love. Thank you for following me on Rumble. Appreciate it over there. And I'll see you tomorrow sometime, probably after, I don't know, man, like maybe after lunchtime or something. I don't have a specific time, but I'll get that set up. And shout out to Donnie Danko for tonight's thumbnail as well. Donnie Danko is doing a great job. So I'm going to leave you with Sabaton as always. And I hope you guys have a great night. Have a good weekend. Spend some time with your friends. Spend some time with your family. Go outside, relax a little bit, have some fun, and understand that the next year, year and a half, we're in for hell. And we got to be ready for that. So good night. I love you all. Here we go.
Time to rule at last. 15 years have been
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow for the Square Up, and we'll have some more fun, and then we'll play some video games tomorrow night as well. So thank you. Appreciate it. Love you all. Have a good night, and we will talk to you later. Bye.